There we go. Wanted to make sure it would burn evenly. Welcome one and all to Scotch and Smoke Rings. Happy 2026. This is the first broadcast of the new year. Good to have you on the program. Nick Knack says, whoa, kind of late, lol. Yeah, I know. I tried to go live yesterday, but I had to pick family up from the airport, and I didn't get back until close to midnight, so then I postponed the stream. Then I tried to go live earlier today as well, but it's just been a crazy, crazy day, and I didn't get a chance to sit down until just a few moments ago. And I figured, well, I don't want to postpone it again, so let's just go ahead and do it. It's almost midnight, but here I am, and we're gonna play some games and have some fun. Due to the lateness, I don't know how long we're gonna be playing tonight, but we're definitely gonna have a good time. But if you're new to the program and you're just here for the gameplay, what happens with the show is we've got a bit of a Q&A for the first 30 minutes or so. You've got questions, I've got answers, so if you're watching the replay, go ahead and skip ahead about an hour. That's when the gameplay actually starts. But until then, go ahead and ask me your questions. Episode 3 of Season 2 just dropped. I already published my video about it. I know everyone's going to have lots of questions, lots of insights, and I want to be here for that. So bear in mind, if you haven't seen Season 2 yet, we're probably going to be talking spoilers for the first hour or so. That's the idea. Now, as for what I'm smoking, I found this, and I had to get it. It's called Sarsaparilla Cigars. Sadly, no sunset in there, but they're sarsaparilla cigars. I've never been able to find San Francisco sunlights. Anyway, they're pretty good. I've gone through a lot of them. There are only a few left, but they're not remarkable. So instead, I'm smoking these today. These are Bull Moose cigars, and they're huge. Look at these things. Look at the gauge on that cigar. It's just a huge, huge chunker of a cigar. And I've really been enjoying them. Josh Bunton on Twitch says, Happy New Year's, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. You too, Josh Bunton. Sophia Voss is with us on Twitch today. MooFixer on Twitch says, Happy New Year, Oxhorn. I hope you're doing well. I find it awfully funny that Quintus calls Maximus dumb for suggesting to kill Xander when Quintus decided to make an appeal to religion to the elder who told him to his face that she did not engage in religion within her chapter. Is Quintus senile? I hope he changes his depends. Better than he changed the minds of those other elders. Yikes! I think Quintus's unique character attributes have nothing to do with his age and everything to do with the crustiness of his soul. So it's interesting that he mocked Maximus for what Maximus said. But what he did is he lashed out in rage. Maximus made the mistake of being the first person to speak immediately after one of the other Brotherhood elders rejected Quintus and told him that she wasn't joining his rebellion, which he was counting on because he can't take the Commonwealth by himself. He needs support. He was trying to rally some allies together. And now things are much more complicated. So with his plans falling apart all around him, he's really upset. And then Maximus speaks. And he says something. He said something a little snide, honestly. Because he said, hey, do you want me to kill him? Because that's what we do around here. He said it in a sort of sassy little way, right? Which I don't know if Quintus actually picked up on, but the audience clearly did. And I think Maximus, with full disapproval, but resignation that this is the life he has to lead, understands that, killing people to get your way isn't always the best way to go about it. But he was still offering his services because he's part of that chapter. So whether or not Quintus picked up on the sassiness of Maximus, or if it was just because he was frustrated after being told no by some of the other elders, he kind of lashed out in rage at Maximus, which isn't what you want to do to your sword, because if he's your only sword, or your best sword, you don't want to antagonize your best sword, because what if that sword turns against you? So Quintus, you're right. He's not very smart himself. Sean Kaiser became a Bronze Ox. Thank you, Sean Kaiser. It's good to see everyone on YouTube today. Wyoming Homesteader, The Vivid Kiwi, Drift Spawn, Jeff Day, Nick Knack, Wayne Azing, Jonah Xayu, See My Wings, Deuteronomous says, is it pedantic to think the two Legion camps were too close together? I mean, they could easily throw grenades over that no man's land. Yeah, that entire situation is not really good. Maybe I'll get into it a bit later, but the way that they depicted the two camps is ridiculous. And I realized that they had constraints with, the set that they were trying to build, but they clearly just had one little stretch of land, and they used some earth moving equipment to create a tiny little berm, and then they built the camps on either side of the berm. It was just a horrible design for the camp, and I talked a little bit about it in a video. It's nestled between a bunch of hills. If you have a fortified presence, you don't put that fortified presence at the bottom of hills. That's why castles are all at the top of hills, because you could shoot down into the castle if it was not at the top of the hill. But they put both of their camps in this little valley surrounded by tall hills, and they've apparently been there for 20 years? Or 13 years, or 14 years, or however long it's been since the events of New Vegas. It's ridiculous. Nick Barnhouse says, howdy Ox, long time no see, glad to catch a live stream and hope to be able to catch streams more this 2026 year. Happy New Year's to you and your fam. Thank you, Nick Barnhouse. Hopefully you'll be able to catch more as well. I'll be live all this year. Enclave Leader says, Paladin Harkness had just revealed the canonical ending to Fallout 4. It's the Minutemen ending. Hence, he says to Maximus, says they need cold fusion because the Commonwealth won't last. Mass fusion and the Institute destroyed. Possibly. But we know that the Pridwin exists. And the only Minuteman ending that puts the Brotherhood at threat is the one where they destroy the Pridwin. So the only other Minuteman ending that leaves the Brotherhood alive is the one where the Minutemen just sort of ignore the Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood just sort of ignore the Minutemen. And that doesn't seem to lend itself to a situation where the Brotherhood, a few years later, finds itself in immediate peril from the Minutemen, of all people. So much so that they would need cold fusion from California. It just doesn't ring true to me. If there really is a great peril that is looming, I think it's going to be something other than the Minutemen, possibly the resurgence of the Enclave, or maybe some new threat that, they'll expound upon in a later season. Moonfixer on Twitch says, you make a fair point, Oxhorn. I was curious about the state of Lanius. I can't see him allowing the Brotherhood to divide like that if he is alive. He would have busted some heads, I imagine. You mean the Legion. You can't see him allowing the Legion to divide like that. Yeah, I'm also curious about Lanius. Clearly, Macaulay Culkin is not playing Legate Lanius. He's playing a Legate. We don't know which one. Now, perhaps this means that Legate Lanius was killed by the Courier during the events of Fallout New Vegas, which is what would happen during the house ending. In the house ending, you have to kill Legate Lanius. He's the final boss. And there's no Legate Lanius in Caesar's camp, and we've already been led to believe that the house ending might be the right one, so this is just more evidence that the house ending is the right one. So if it's the house ending, and the courier gave the platinum chip to the house and went ahead with the house plan, then Legate Lanius is dead because Lanius was killed by the courier. And of course, Caesar died, as they made clear in this episode. Not explaining how, but just explaining that he died. And it makes sense that there would be a power grab after Caesar dies. I think that Joshua Graham makes this very clear during the events of Honest Hearts. He says that no one could lead the Legion like Caesar. Like Caesar. I couldn't. And he says that the Legion will die with Caesar. And I think that's true. I do think that Legate Lanius probably had a commanding enough presence to lead the Legion. But the only ending where he's still alive is the Legion ending, and clearly that's not the correct ending. So Legate Lanius is dead. Which means that all of the great leadership that Caesar's Legion had is dead and has been dead for several years. The fact that they have had a bit of a civil war and that they've divided is totally plausible. The way that they did it in the show is ridiculous. He died with a note in his hand telling everybody who was going to be his successor, and no one read it. They just skipped reading it and went straight to civil war. They somehow moved the body and put it on a pedestal and surrounded it with flowers and skulls and stuff, but didn't bother to read the note. They just didn't touch that. They're like, we'll get to that later. Let's do a civil war first over the thing that will be solved by reading the note. Doesn't make a lick of sense. And they've been in that exact same spot with a little berm, a little bump of earth separating the two camps for 13 years? 13 years? Longer than World War I and II combined. What? And all it takes is one little dynamite detonation in one camp for them to attack each other and end each other? Because no one had the idea. We're talking about Caesar's Legion. They have spies. They're the one faction that has an entire presence filled with infiltrators and spies that are proud of what they do. No one in that time went into the other camp and sabotaged them. No one in that time, as you suggested, just sort of lobbed a grenade over that little berm, right? If everyone on one side just at the same time threw a grenade over the little berm into the other camp, that would have ended it. But no, because you're right, they're very close together. It's just preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. I mean, on one hand, the Legion is stupid. The members of the Legion are stupid. The only member of the Legion who possibly might have been intelligent was Caesar himself, Edward Sallow. But despite having great battle prowess, Legate Lanius wasn't a very intelligent person. None of the other members of the Legion are very intelligent people. So the fact that they do stupid things is expected because they're the Legion. But that's too stupid even for the Legion. Even someone without any battlefield experience or, camp making experience or war experience would know you don't put your camp at the bottom of a valley surrounded by hills. Would know that you need space away from your enemy. You can't just set your tent right up next to them. It's just, that part really bothered me. Really bothered me. Brendan Lucas says, looking at Lucy, it struck me really hard that if someone like her encountered John Henry Eden, she would be strongly receptive to her rhetoric. She would be receptive to her rhetoric? Oh, okay, she would be receptive to his rhetoric. I think you're right that, she wants to rebuild America, but I also think she's intelligent enough to read between the lines and see what he's really trying to do. John Henry Eden is really asking the Lone Wanderer to poison all of the water in the wasteland, to kill everyone who isn't a vault dweller, which is what she got mad at her father for doing. Her father, Hank McLean, destroyed Sadie Shan's for no other reasons than that they weren't vault dwellers, that they didn't come from Bud Askin's experiment. So that's essentially what John Henry Eden wants to do. Kill everyone who wasn't a vault dweller. kill everyone who wasn't a prime normal. And yeah, he's charming and he's got the whole Americana vibe down, but so do the Enclave, because he's part of the Enclave, and I don't think she would be very receptive to that, and I think she'd be intelligent enough to see through his charm. Enclave leader says, if you look closely at where Macaulay Culkin points to the other Legion encampment, you'll notice an NPC moment of Asian Caesar standing for 7 seconds and deciding to sit down. That was pretty funny, hard to notice. Yeah, I missed that. I wonder if it was intentional. Stephen Morgan became a Bronze Ox. Thank you, Stephen Morgan. The 76th Doctor says, I have a theory that the true heir to the Legion is Lacerta Legate, and that the Legion obtains the note. The trailer shows him as a Caesar. So the trailer shows the character played by Macaulay Culkin as a Caesar. Yeah, it also shows that character brutally killing somebody while staring him in the face. So is it because his name is written in Caesar's note? Or is it because he killed the person whose name is written in Caesar's note? We don't really know. It'll be interesting to find out. The Vivid Kiwi says, thoughts on Prim being geographically inaccurate? They're the same as my thoughts on Shady Sands being geographically inaccurate. On one hand, I'm frustrated as a fan who wants continuity between all of the games and all of the movies. And yet, on the other hand, Shady Sands was in the wrong place in Fallout 2 compared to where it was in Fallout 1. The Vault 13, was in a different place in Fallout 2 compared to where it was in Fallout 1. So this is something that even the game developers themselves mess up. Maps are hard to maintain consistency from game to game. And the reason is because the map needs to serve the purposes of the game, and they're going to make any change they feel like they need to make to the map in order to make the game work a little better. And of course, that's the same reason why the show is making changes to the map. They plopped Shady Sands into the middle of Hollywood because it's what they needed for the narrative of the show. And I don't like it, but everyone does it. And that's not an excuse. And I was thinking about this earlier. One of the reasons that I'm so passionate about Fallout lore is because I think it's the closest. It's not the closest because it's close to becoming art in video games. There are a couple of games out there that are high art, like Red Dead Redemption 2. That's like a high art video game. Cyberpunk 2076, after they got rid of 2077, whatever. After they got rid of all of the glitches, it has evolved and become into a very artistic sort of game. And the same can be true for storytelling. Like if you tell a story in a good way, it can become so artistic that it rivals a novel, that it rivals a poem, that it rivals other forms of artistic expression. And every time you have an inconsistency, you cheapen the value of your art. That's my problem with little things like map inconsistencies and date inconsistencies. I'm enjoying the show and I want the show to maintain its artistic value, and it can only do that if it goes out of its way to avoid continuity errors and things that cheapen its artistic value. Wayne Azing says, Aloha Oxhorn, any thoughts on the military face on the Securitron? Does that mean that the courier upgraded the Securitron army is canon in the show? It is what it means if the rules of House's Securitrons are followed by the show. Because the only way that the Securitrons could get the army face is if they were upgraded to Mark II Securitrons, which could only be done with the Platinum chip. So we're operating under the presumption that House had the Platinum chip. But I guess we'll find out for sure. Otakon says, chances of the boomers appearing maybe? I mean, at this point, anything's game. Like, they're already showing us so much of Vegas that anything could happen. I had no idea that we'd be able to see Camp Golf, that they'd show us Victor, that we'd see Helios 1 and the Bison Steve. Like, I had no idea any of this stuff, that we'd show up in Novak, that all of this would happen. They're really giving us a tour of Fallout New Vegas in this season of the show. So sure, I mean, the boomers could totally show up at this point. Is it likely? I don't know. I mean, there have to be a narrative reason for it. I don't know. We'll see. Enclave Leader says, I would still say the Minuteman ending because I wouldn't think the Brotherhood would risk losing their airship with the amount of artillery that the Minutemen possess. Well, clearly, they didn't think about that during the events of Fallout 4. Either they didn't know that the Minutemen had artillery cannons, or they didn't think they were a threat. Either way, it's either ignorance or arrogance, and we have no indication that either of those two attributes of the Brotherhood are ever going to change. Why would they suddenly become aware of the artillery cannons that the Minutemen would have 5 years after the events of Fallout 4? 9 years after the events of Fallout 4. So it's possible they could have, but there's no reason they should. And if they just didn't care, I wouldn't expect that ever changing either. So, I mean, it's still possible that it was the Minuteman ending, but I still wouldn't think that the existence of the Minutemen would put the Brotherhood into such a panic that they would insist that they need a high technology like cold fusion to combat the Minutemen. I think it's something else. Brandon Lucas says, I feel the Legion was portrayed as best as it could. It shows themes. The show's themes is very different from the games, and as a result, all of the factions we see are just part of Hank's factions and not important. I don't know. So I see what you're saying. I would spin it like this. I think that the show is trying to portray the Legion and other factions like them as best as they can, given their time constraints, their budget constraints, and narrative constraints. And it's also very difficult with the kind of material that they've been given to work with. I mean, the Legion is such a cringy faction to begin with. It's just so creepy and weird and ridiculous, even as it was depicted in the game. So how do you work with that? You get this really weird incel faction that hates women and wears football uniforms, pretending that they're Roman uniforms, greets each other in Latin, and enslaves people. Like, this is what they do, and they brag about it, right? They brag about sexual violence and all sorts of stuff. What do you do with that kind of... They're ridiculously evil. That's the problem with having something that's so evil that they're comically evil. Because it gets to the point where you can only laugh. Like, the evil that they do is so overboard that you can only laugh and it becomes comic. And that's kind of the direction that I feel like they're going with Caesar's Legion. It was, even in the last episode, it was just the punchline of a bunch of different jokes. Will it become more serious? Will it become a deeper threat later on? Maybe, I don't know, but I think that, it's probably going to be a laughable faction, and it won't exist much outside of Season 2. It's the same situation with the Great Khans. There was a great story, a long and winding story with the Great Khans. And so far, they showed up for just one episode, and they were a token Raider presence. They hardly gave the Great Khans the sort of attention that the Great Khans deserve. The Great Khans are not good people, but their story is interesting. And, it would have been great to show that there's a depth to Raiders that you otherwise would miss. But they don't got time for that. They've got 30 minutes to tell a story. Ned Kalsberg says, howdy, Ox. The Fallout 4 theme always seems to play whenever the NCR are on screen. For example, the NCR flag reveal in Vault 4. Why is that? It wasn't just that. I believe that the Fallout theme also played when the father and son metal mining duo were wearing the NCR masks just before the ghoul arrived to ask them the whereabouts of Moldaver during Season 1. The Fallout theme played then, and then so far I think it also played when that NCR soldier gave a tin filled with the medicine to the ghoul. I think I remember hearing it playing on the background there. But you're right, they're NCR as well. So the Fallout theme is playing when the NCR shows up, which is a really interesting detail. I think it means that the NCR is going to become much more important to the plot later on. That's all I think it means. Brandon Lucas says, isn't Hank's brutality and poor reasoning, not to mention her mother's death, that compounds Lucy's issues with Hank? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, blowing up an entire city filled with people and killing her mother are very much issues that are compounding Lucy's relationship with her father. I think that, yeah, that's definitely true. Enclave Leader says, when we saw the NCR, I questioned what happened to the Long 15 and the Mojave Outpost. I know we will see the NCR at Camp McCarran or the battalion in the east. I'm really confused as to when we'll see the NCR in Season 2, because so far, they're a rare presence. Like, the Ghoul had to go out of his way to find one NCR outpost, and then we learned that there's another battalion somewhere to the east, but they've been missing for 10 years? Like, how much of the NCR is left? Where is the NCR headquartered? In Fallout New Vegas, the president of the NCR, Aaron Kimball, was able to fly from Shady Sands in California and land on the Hoover Dam in a vertibird. Like, they were mobile. They could move. In this game, it's like they get stuck, or in this show, it's like they get stuck in a place and they stay there for decades. What? Okay. No communication. Walkie-talkies no longer work. What's going on with the communication of the NCR? I mean, surely destroying Shady Sands didn't disrupt that much if it was the old capital of the New California Republic. Clearly, there's another capital, right? So, where's that? Presumably, it's where President Kimball was when he flew to the Hoover Dam. Because if Shady Sands was destroyed in 2077, as the show is telling us, and the game takes place in 2281, and President Kimball shows up, the president of the NCR shows up, not even mentioning Shady Sands, at the Hoover Dam to get a speech, and then gets in a vertibird and flies off somewhere. He's got to be flying somewhere. And clearly it's not to Shady Sands, which is destroyed. So where's he flying off to? Where's that place in the show? What happened to the NCR in that place in the show? So there's a lot about the NCR that needs clarification. Colonel 87th says, yes, exactly what I've been trying to say, art. I think games can be art. I don't think all games are art. I think there are plenty of games that are not artistic in any way, just as I think that there are plenty of pulp novels that are just meant to, give somebody something to read while they're on an airplane. They're not necessarily art either, but novels can be art. And I think games can be art as well. And I want the storytelling of the Fallout franchise to be of high artistic value. And that's the only reason that continuity errors bother me. Blue Thunder says, Happy New Year 2026 from Singapore, Ox. Thank you, Blue Thunder. Happy New Year. Janice Jacques the Great says, the Fallout show is great. Ox is awesome. I'm going to bed. Thank you, Jacques the Great. Signata says, lots of Fallout discussion tonight. Epic Nate just released a video on the origins of the Covenant. Awesome. Sounds cool. I did a video on Covenant many, many years ago. That was a lot of fun to put together. And I hope Nate has uncovered stuff that I didn't cover in my video. Colonel 87th says they wouldn't have known because you set up the artillery. Well, okay, but you're under the presumption that you're pushing the trigger as soon as you set it up, which I'm sure some players did. But if you were like me, you went from settlement to settlement and you built the settlement and installed artillery. Then you went to the next settlement and you built the settlement and you installed artillery. And you did that until you had the entire Commonwealth covered with artillery. That took time. It took many weeks, sometimes months of in-game play, which is time for the Brotherhood, if they had spies, to discover what was going on at Minuteman settlements. And either they didn't see the Minutemen as a threat, and so they didn't care, or they just never saw it. Sarah says, I've been spamming you on Blue Sky. Did you see a Fallout show actor, House, gave you your channel a shout out? I posted the video. I'm at work right now, but this is important. I did see that, and I responded. I think it was on Twitter, actually. Somebody messaged me on Twitter, so I responded on Twitter. I should probably check my Blue Sky messages as well. But yeah, it was Raffi Silver, the actor Raffi Silver, who plays House in season 1, and the body double of House, the brother of House in season 2. He was being interviewed by IGN, and they said, so what did you do to research your role? And he said, I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And then he rattled off on a number of Fallout YouTubers, including me. So it was really nice to hear that, he watched my videos as part of his research. It felt really good to hear that. So I thanked him, and I thanked the viewers who brought that to my attention. And thank you also, Sarah. The Posh Drummer says, House ending or yes man ending, and why? Well, House ending because of the Platinum chip. House ending because we see Mark II Securitrons, and they could not exist without the Platinum chip. I don't believe there's a way to side with Yes Man after giving the Platinum chip to House. I don't believe there's a way to side with any of the other factions. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I don't think there's a way to side with any of the other factions after you give the Platinum chip to House. Thomas McCormick says, I've tried to understand their rationalization, but the NCR Shady Sands destruction timeline continuity errors are just weird and serve no purpose. They don't, because if they put it in the narrative for emotional resonance, I mean, the only people that are going to have any sort of emotional resonance are going to be the people who know about Shady Sands because they've played the games. But to do it in the way that they did it, with Shady Sands in the wrong place, with the destruction at the wrong time, just pisses off the very people you're trying to develop an emotional resonance with. So, you're right, the continuity errors don't serve a purpose, because they could have simply made it 2282. 1 year after the events of Fallout New Vegas, they could have said it. And it doesn't change anything. It literally doesn't change anything. I know that they wanted to get the Brotherhood from Fallout 4 over to the West Coast, but so far those are the only characters that we've met from the other games. And a few years later, what is it, 4 years after the events of if we had waited 5 years after the events of Fallout 3, which take place in 2277. Then that would have been 1 year after the events of Fallout New Vegas, which take place in 2281, which would have still given them plenty of time to grow up, the kids to grow up and become adults, and have the Commonwealth chapter arrive from the East Coast. They totally could have done that. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. Like, it's so bad, it's so weird that part of me wonders, maybe there is a reason that we just can't see. Maybe, many seasons down the line, they're going to reveal something and it's all going to click into place and it's all going to make sense. But at the moment, with the information that we've been given, there's no reason to get the date wrong. There's no reason to get the location wrong. Those were choices, and you could have made other choices so easily. Enclave Leader 6245 says, next episode I theorize Lucy and Coop will go back to the NCR outpost and talk with Captain Rodriguez. Maximus will kill Elder Tectus, leads to Dane's death and to the end of Tectus's chapter, Dead Airship Crash. Okay, you think all of that's going to happen in the next episode? That's a lot. That's a lot of things to happen in one episode. Maybe you're right. I think that it's probably going to be much later in the season, maybe episode 7 or 8, before we see that big war happen that we saw in the trailer. Brendan Lucas says, regarding your thoughts on the Legion, well, the show was a character drama rather than a geopolitical RPG like Fallout New Vegas, so factions are not important outside what they mean to the characters. Great show today. You're right, but that doesn't mean they are free to get them wrong. If you're going to talk about them, you get them right. You don't get them wrong because they're less important. It takes just as much effort to build a Legion camp that is not in the middle of a valley than to build a Legion camp on a hill. It takes just as much effort to build a Legion camp a couple miles away from another Legion camp as it does to build them right next to each other. Right? Like it's not like they're saving anything by making those choices. It's just either ignorance or laziness. Like I don't understand how you can get to that point. If I were making it and I wanted to tell the exact same story, I would just make it a little bit more believable by making the Legion camp less of a comic. It's so comically bad. Brendan Lucas says, no, I got Brendan Lucas's thank you so much. Oh, no, but then he says, I just mean that an Eden character convincing her is not impossible because Hank does what he does savagely. Conversely, she believes what she believes. That produces moral outcomes. Or he believes what she believes. The procedure produces moral outcomes. No, absolutely not. Like... She knows what happened to Shady Sands because she went to the crater where Shady Sands once sat. When she confronted her father didn't go, "Yes, I did kill Shady Sands." No, he was in a cage. He was pitiful, right? He was in a point where he needed her to get him out. Like there wasn't. He was pleading with her. He was reasoning with her, which is exactly what President Eden does. He brings you up to his chamber and he reasons with you. He tries to talk with you. He uses his charisma to try and convince you to join his side, which is exactly what Hank tried to do to Lucy. Hank failed, and he was her father. So we should probably take that as a cue that Eden would have failed as well. It's not difficult to understand what Eden is asking you to do. He gives you a vial with the FEV virus in it and asks you to place it into the water purifier that your father built. There's only one thing that's going to happen. You're going to infect the water with a virus, the water that people are going to drink. Your father would never want you to do that. The consequences of doing that are obvious to all. No, Lucy could never have been convinced to do that by Eden. Never. Mahogany John gifted 1 Oxhorn membership to the community. Thank you, Mahogany John. And Mysticles snagged that membership. Congratulations, Mysticles. Sarah says, okay, good. I wanted to make sure you saw. Cheers. Thank you, Sarah. Samurai Ravan says, evening, Ox. I haven't been able to watch season 2 yet, but I have been enjoying the theories. Lol. Also, Happy New Year to you and yours. Cheers. Thank you, Samurai Ravan. Happy New Year to you and yours as well. Octocon says, far off hypothesis on my part. House went to CIT, right? The show may integrate House intentions, possible contributions to cold fusion, to how something like another institute could be born or reborn. So, I mean, he could do it, like, literally anything is possible. Like, anything you can think of is possible. That is something someone could think of, so it's possible. Is it likely? I mean, no. We've had no evidence that House knows about what CIT would become. Like, he's the man who knows everything now. He's not the man who knows the future. And the Institute became part of the future. The Institute grew out of the faculty and staff of the CIT that survived after the bombs dropped. So... no, like, I mean, sure, but no. Avpus says, Happy New Year, everyone. Didn't the ghoul say it was 20 years since the bombs dropped in Shady Sands, so the Vegas timeline could exist? No, the ghoul says that Shady Sands was destroyed 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. That's exactly what the ghoul says. Shady Sands was destroyed over 20 years ago. 20 years ago was not 2281. The show takes place in 2296. 13 years ago is 2281. Or, no. 13 years ago is 2283. So, 14, 15. 15 years ago is 2281. 20 years ago is 2276. Over 22 years ago is 2275, right? Like there's a bunch of timeline issues here. Even the Ghoul saying over 20 years ago makes it weird. Like, say a year had gone by between the events of season 1 and season 2, so that now it's 2297. Exactly 20 years ago would be 2277, the date that's on the chalkboard in Vault 4. So what the Ghoul is saying would match up, except for the fact that he says over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago is not 20 years. It's over 20 years. So it's what, 21 years? 22 years? It's over 20 years. How many years? Either way, it couldn't have been 2283. It couldn't have been 2281. Now, apparently, it couldn't have been 2277 because that's less than over 20 years ago. So when was it? 2276? 2275? I mean, the only other option is that the Ghoul is exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it was exactly 20 years. Maybe it was 19 years. Maybe it was 21 years and he just said over 20 years ago and he was slightly wrong. But it's still a far cry from 13 years ago, which is closer to a decade than it is to 2 decades. So he would have said over 10 years instead of over 20 years if it was closer to a decade than it is to 2 decades. It's a mess. They made a mess. Enclave Leader says, my theory next episode... After the airship goes down, Maximus will find the NCR, leading him to joining and taking back New Vegas alongside Cooper. The season ends with the Legion attacking Vegas. Well, I mean, how many episodes do you think are going to be this season? Next episode is going to be episode 5. It's going to be, what, 8 or 9 episodes in the season? I think, like, the retaking of New Vegas, confrontation, big battle, it's going to be end-of-season stuff. I don't think it's going to be in episode 5. We'll see. Colonel 87th says, did you live stream of Fallout 1 and 2? Can you? I don't know if I ever... I actually think I did live stream myself playing Fallout 2 once, many, many years ago, when I was working on a lore series. I probably won't be doing that again anytime soon, but I think I did live stream it once before. Knickknack says... So far, this season has been a disappointment for me. It's just a mishmash of callbacks that Lucy and the Ghoul are meandering through to cash in on nostalgia. It's as if the writers didn't know where the narrative should go. I'm not quite in the same place. I'm still really enjoying the season. I have criticisms of them, of this season so far, and they're strong criticisms, but I've also been praising it as well in my video recaps. Not only because of the callbacks, but because of the really interesting storytelling that they're doing with House and with Coop compared to his wife. Like his interactions with his wife are really interesting. His interactions with House are fascinating. How his reputation is changing. I mean, House already thinks that he's a pinko commie. How he's interacting with Moldaver and with Charlie Whiteknife. I mean, all of that stuff is really, really good. I think it was a wonderful narrative move to bring in other chapters of the Brotherhood, to let the viewers know that Quintus isn't just the Brotherhood, that there is more out there. I think that was great. Finding Area 51, wonderful. Like, a lot of really good stuff has been going on. But in addition to the weird Legion stuff that I disliked, I think that some of the characters have had a bit of a character regression that disappoints me a little bit. I talked about this in my episode 2 video concerning Lucy, because it seems like her character has regressed back towards the ignorant vault dweller she was when she left the vault, instead of progressing, instead of adapting and evolving the way you would think she would, especially if she's as intelligent as she's supposed to be. The Ghoul, likewise, though his regression wasn't nearly as much as hers, regressed a little bit. He still is really curt and really rude and wants things his way. And perhaps he's had 200 years of practice for that, which can explain it. Even Maximus regressed a little bit at the end of season 1. He was disgusted with the Brotherhood. He had sympathies for the NCR. But at the beginning of season 2, he's like, oh, well, the Brotherhood is still the best choice. Like, it's all right. So, On one hand, I think I understand why they did that, because they didn't know if they were going to get greenlit for any more seasons after season 1 of the Fallout show. So they wanted to sort of wrap it up to give characters a complete character arc in season 1. But now that they've been greenlit for season 1, season 2, multiple seasons, they've got to stretch these character growth stories out a little bit. So, I suppose I can get why they did it. They make the characters regress a little bit in season 2 so that they can fully flesh out those characters throughout the subsequent seasons. Still, it's an insult to the viewer to do that. So I don't like that they did that with Lucy. Brandon Lucas says, regarding Eden, I'd personally entertain it in the writing room because I'd want a hard schism between Lucy and the Ghoul for drama reasons. Not to mention Cold Fusion is about to jump owners soon. You'd entertain the idea of having Lucy join the Enclave, join President Eden's Enclave. That's the idea that you would posit. Well, it's interesting. I don't think she would ever do that because she didn't even believe her father. She didn't believe her father's lies when she was confronted with them. So, no, she wouldn't do that. But it's an interesting theory. Brendan Lucas says, also, not trying to play funny buggers with morals and ethics here. It's just fun guessing where the show can go thematically and the possibilities. It is fun. I really enjoy it as well. I try not to do too much of it because ultimately it's impossible to predict where they're going to go. Like, I wouldn't have been able to predict any of this, but it is fun to think about it. Schism. I said schism. Did I say schism or schism? Is it schism or schism? I think it's a schism. Deuteronomous? What'd I say? Schism? Yeah, I totally said schism. I know what you're talking about. Spartan says, doesn't dog meat have a second Cold Fusion in its neck? No? Did Wildzig inject dog meat with Cold Fusion? I don't think he did. I think he just put it into his own neck. Murdoch Mordecai says, I've seen quite a few people getting upset about the Legion having guns, but while this is a new Legion, I also think the guns are in line, as the Legion does shame others for using firearms while hypocritically doing the same. I mean, you're right. From a lore perspective, the Legion mocks people for using guns. Caesar does as well. But every single Legion band that accosts you in the wasteland, that chase you down, they're all using guns. So it's kind of like, all right, if the game itself is going to ignore their own rule about the Legion using guns, then you can't criticize the show for doing so as well. Baryonyx says, in the first season, when the ghoul gets captured by the government group, there's a wall of wanted posters. One of them is for a super mutant, but it really looks like the Institute variant. It has me a little worried about how they're going to handle the West Coast super mutants that we're going to see. It's an interesting thought. I actually noticed the same thing. It does look like the Fallout 4 version of the super mutant, but also remember that the Fallout 76 version looks the same as well. Reused assets, of course. The reason is because Fallout 76 uses reused assets from Fallout 4. I don't think we can assume that the Fallout 4 super mutants look the way they do because they've got a specific Institute look. I just think that the Fallout 4 super mutants look the way they do because Bethesda was using greater technology and better art to depict super mutants than what they had when they created them for Fallout 3, when they depicted them in Fallout 3. So I think that if they were to depict Fallout 3 super mutants, they'd probably make them look like Fallout 4 super mutants because that's what a super mutant is in their mind. The Fallout 4 super mutant is a refined design, whereas a Fallout 3 super mutant is a prototype, right? That's kind of where I think it would go. So the fact that the wanted poster does kind of look like an Institute super mutant doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with the Institute. Colonel 87th says, it kind of pisses me off that the NCR is annihilated, which is effectively the U.S. Army Rangers of Steel. You're there effectively asking me to believe that they're just wiped off with one nuke the entire NCR. No. Well, I mean, I am frustrated to see the NCR in this state, but it's not just them. It's every faction. The Caesar's Legion is in quite a state. The Khans are in quite a state. Literally every faction from New Vegas has diminished in some way, and the Brotherhood faction hasn't even shown up at all. But it is particularly frustrating to see the NCR in such a poor state. But have them wiped out with one nuke? Again, we don't know that they were wiped out with one nuke. We know Shady Sands was wiped out, but that's just a town. It's just one city, a former capital. They likely had plenty of troops in the Mojave that weren't wiped out with one nuke. Ned Carlsberg says, hope we get an answer for the show's pre-war Deathclaw. Yeah, I hope so too. I learned after I made my video that the Fallout 2 strategy guide actually describes the Deathclaw as being created by humans to replace human warriors in combat. So, and I didn't know that before that, but apparently the Fallout 2 strategy guide says that they were made by people. They're likely the result of an an Enclave experiment. Enclave leader says, be fascinating to see Hank/Norm to join the Enclave. Okay. I think you would think anyone joining the Enclave would be interesting, because I think you just like the Enclave. Brendan Lucas says, regarding Lucy joining, not join, I wouldn't even make the Enclave last very long. It's just a small dilemma to give her the moral authority she yearns for. Okay, well, I don't understand what you're trying to solve from a narrative perspective by having her join the Enclave and agree to President Eden's genocide idea. Like, I mean, it's so out of character for Lucy that it would never, ever happen. Like, it would never happen. She's already mad at one person in her life for committing genocide, right? You keep coming back to this, and I keep giving you the same answer. Lucy has already said no to one genocide. She would not say yes to another. It's not a small dilemma. Like, it wouldn't happen. She wouldn't even consider it briefly for a moment. We know what she would say because she's already answered that question in season 1. It's just not, it's not where the story would ever go. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to come up with an exploration for seeing the face of the actor who played President Eden on a wall next to Johnny Pemberton when Johnny Pemberton was getting his makeup done for season 2. That's what you're trying to explain. You're trying to come up with an idea why he would be there. Well, he would only be there if Eden was there. What would Eden be doing? How would Eden interact with the characters? And you're trying to come up with an idea. But this isn't it. Like, Lucy is the last person who would agree to Eden's genocide. Yes, she likes all of the Americana stuff. She doesn't want America to have fallen, yada, yada, yada. But she's also smart enough to realize that that President Eden only uses all of that to manipulate his audience. Maximus might not be smart enough to realize that, but Lucy clearly is. Avpa sent 5 Oxhorn memberships to the community. Thank you, Avpa. And congratulations to Xanos, Nightshade, Agent Neptune, Manuel Morales, KMC, and Shadow Crusader. Heavy D says, so which Commonwealth was Xander from? Because he just says he's from the Commonwealth, so is that from the Boston or the Midwest chapter? Probably Boston. We already know that Boston was called the Commonwealth after the bombs dropped. We don't know of any other area or former state that was called the Commonwealth. Now, there are plenty of states today that call themselves Commonwealths. Do they all call themselves the Commonwealth? We don't know. But we do know that Boston does, so it was likely from them. Enclave leader says the Enclave targeting Oxhorn. Here's Vertibird. Yes, totally. Thank you, Enclave leader. I'm going to drink something now. Cheers. Okay, love this discussion. We've got about 6 minutes left until I dive into the game. You got questions? Let me know now. Brendan Lucas says, but the Lucy you're talking about wouldn't even try to equivocate or reason with the Legion because the Legion are objectively cultural genocidal. On morals, she wouldn't equivocate with them on morals. Would she try to dialogue with them in order to find a way to survive? Sure. So, for example, in episode 3 of season 2, she sees that they're at civil war and she offers her services as a mediator to mediate between the two sides because they're gonna kill her. They just threatened to perform the rite of prima nocta on her, right? Which is, like she's in a very bad position. She's not agreeing to murder anyone for them. She's not agreeing to poison water for them or flip a switch on a bomb for them. She's agreeing to negotiate between two bloodthirsty, murderous factions as a way to prolong her life and not get crucified so that she might escape or be rescued. That's very, very different from negotiating with a genocidal AI gone mad who wants to infect the waters of the world. Manuel Morales says the Legion is still dominating in the region and the map. The Legion has 2 areas marked on the map. I wouldn't necessarily say they dominate, and I think that notes 2 camps, and they're pretty far away from each other. One is the camp that we likely saw in the last episode. The other are probably reinforcements out east, which doesn't make sense now that I think about it, because wouldn't they have been called in the last 10 years to pick a side? If Caesar's legion still had forces out east as part of their great Eastern Empire, and they were in the middle of a civil war, what happened to them? Like all of the tribals of the 86, 87 tribes? Where are they? What are they doing right now? Which side did they pick? It makes you wonder. But if any faction dominated the map, it would be the Brotherhood of Steel. They had 5 different presences, 5 different unique presences on the map. The Legion only had 2. Amraz Martinov says, could be wrong, but pretty sure Mole Rats, Deathclaws, and Night Stalkers were all experiments as part of Operation Cloaca during the war. Night Stalkers were part of Operation Cloaca. The Deathclaws weren't mentioned in that particular operation. Our only notion that Deathclaws were created as part of an experiment is from the Fallout 2 official strategy guide. And it doesn't list who made them, what faction made them, what operation they were part of, what lab made them, nothing. It just says made by humans. That's all it says. Now, in Fallout 76, there is a terminal inside the Enclave Congressional Bunker that says that after they found the Deathclaw and they started experimenting on it and doing autopsies on it, they found DNA sequencing that looked very similar to the type of DNA sequencing that the Enclave historically had done on creatures in the past, leading them to believe that maybe the Deathclaw was part of an earlier Enclave experiment that they just never knew about. But that's the closest we've gotten to a confirmation. The other is that there's actually a Deathclaw X-ray inside the Robco service center during the Automaton DLC. When we're clearing that entire service center of all of the Robo-Brains that are there, we find a bunch of Deathclaw X-rays, which is interesting. Those shouldn't have been there. But now that we know that they're a pre-war creature, they could have been there. It's likely that the Enclave was the one experimenting on them. Jack463 Killer says, I think they got hit with the nuke from the Divide. Well, the Tunnelers did, certainly. But Deathclaws? Well, I bet some did, but not all of them. Brendan Lucas says, just not saying it because I saw a pic. I'm saying some people outsource their morals. I'm saying there's a difference between owning a bad outcome, as with Hank, and it being someone else's problem. I guess I don't understand what you're trying to say. Owning a bad outcome, as with Hank? Well, I mean, it wasn't, like, what are you saying? Like, it wasn't a bad outcome. He destroyed Shady Sands because he wanted Shady Sands destroyed. For him, it was a good outcome. Shady Sands destroyed was a good outcome. He owned it because he believed in it. He knew he made the right decision. And he's trying to convince Lucy that he made the right decision. That's his entire conversation with Lucy at the top of the Griffith Observatory. He's trying to convince his daughter that he made the right decision, which is what President Eden would be doing to Lucy or anyone else if he were there trying to convince them to poison water with FEV. He would be trying to convince them that it's the right decision, which is what her father did. She didn't believe her father. She wouldn't believe President Eden. Enclave's a leader says one choice picked to serve under as new Caesar, Legate Lanius if alive, or Legate Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin. Always true to Kevin. God, I don't know. They're both creepy and weird in their own way. I guess probably Kevin. Legate Kevin McAllister. Because only he seems to be more talkative than Legate Lanius, and so I'd be able to actually have a conversation with him. Legate Lanius just knows violence and blood. That's all he knows. Brandon Lucas says, I'm saying in Lucy's case, she feels she's responsible for Hank's actions, but I'm saying it can be argued to her that it's not her problem. I don't think she feels responsible for Hank's actions at all. What? No. Why would she feel responsible for her father's genocide? She's disappointed in her father. She's crushed and hurt that the man who raised her, that the man who instilled her morals into her is the same man who would do that. But she doesn't feel responsible for it at all. Like, that's a complete misreading of her character, totally. Nick Nack says, it's annoying that we are now to believe that House needed the platinum chip and cold fusion, despite the fact that he spent decades searching for the chip and was satisfied with the power from Hoover Dam. Yeah, you're right, Nick Nack. Throwing the cold fusion thing into it. We spent so much time talking with Robert House during Fallout New Vegas that if he had needed cold fusion, we would have found out about it. Like, he would have talked about it in passing at some point. Because we asked him what happened, and he tells us what happened, and everything revolved around the platinum chip. It was the one thing that he needed, and he got it too late. That was the only thing that went wrong. But now we know something else went wrong. It was the cold fusion. He needed that too. But he never mentioned it during Fallout New Vegas. Okay, where are we? All right, we are an hour and 2 minutes after. It's time. Let's dive into the game. And I'm only playing this because you guys recommended it to me. All the games I play on my channel they come first as recommendations from you. And this one looked really interesting. So, again, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to go tonight because we are doing a later stream today, but I definitely want to at least get an hour in, maybe two. We'll see. Xanos Nightshade says, theory of mine, been a fan for a very long time before Fallout 76. The Deathclaw from the preview is from the Enclave in Alaska, one from the start of Season 1, because that facility was surrounded by snow when he left. Interesting, but you're also going. We also have to believe that Wildzig on foot walked from Anchorage, Alaska, all the way to California. I mean, technically possible. Technically, very hard, very hard, and that would have taken an enormous amount of time. So I think it's much more likely, given the time constraints in Season 1, that the Enclave facility that we see in Season 1 was probably in the mountains of California. I mean, yeah, I think for a Deathclaw to exist in Anchorage, Alaska, there probably is an Enclave facility in Anchorage. But I don't think we need to conflate that with the one that we saw in Season 1. I think it still makes much more sense that there's some sort of Enclave facility in the mountains of California, closer to Hollywood, so that Wildzig could actually walk there on foot. Manuel Morales says, one of Victor's traits is he lies. The house always wins. Maybe he lied. All right. Time to turn off the lights. Enclave leader says one choice: NCR power armor or Oxhorn Nuka T51B. I guess I'd try the NCR power armor. I kind of want to see what it's like. DJ Mark says Leggett Kevin rules. Are you a rubber? Leggett Kevin does indeed rule. Okay, new game.
You will answer my questions as usual. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do you understand? Do you believe in extraterrestrial life? Are you currently restrained? Are you married? Do you work in law enforcement? Do you know who I am? Do you know who you are? Are you... Good. He's ready.
Whoa, okay. FBI headquarters, Washington, D.C., 7:30 a.m. Okay. No! That doesn't spell Oxhorn. Try again. Oxhorn. No, that's wrong. What? You did. There we go. Jackalwise says, making me think of that song, Operator, Operator, Don't Call Me, I'll Call You Later. Well, nice to catch another stream. Thank you, Jackalwise. Urubber says, true to Kevin. No, that's Enclave Leader. True to Kevin. Future t-shirt design. I like it. Okay, we're logged in. Operator number 8891. Evan Tanner. March 6th, 1992. Welcome to the FDI. You are assigned to the operator program. Please read the following document before proceeding. Welcome. Welcome to the FDI Operator Program. This is a secure and monitored federal government terminal. All unauthorized access is strictly prohibited and subject to criminal prosecution. What is the Operator Program? The Operator Program has been specifically designed to provide technical support to field agents, henceforth abbreviated as agents, while also ensuring a high level of confidentiality. Samurai Revan says, Ox, you drunk? Lamau. Do I sound drunk? I've only had a little bit of rum. I do have this scotch that I poured, and I haven't even touched it yet. I mean, that's a sin to pour it and not touch it, so... But no, I don't think I'm drunk. I don't get drunk on camera. How does it work? 1, agents call the hotline. 2, a call... I'm reading, Mike! Mike, I'm reading! Doggone it.
Hey, pal. How you holding up? Get all that booze out of you?
Oh, so it was booze, huh? I wasn't, like, interrogated or something? I'm not following.
What? You seriously don't remember? You wanted to celebrate your new job, and I quote, ahem, properly. Well, I'm happy you're here. You and me at the FDI together. It's really great. But I gotta tell you something. When we're on the job, I can't treat you differently than anybody else. You understand, right?
Sure. By the way, how much does this pay?
More than your last job, I can tell you that. Well, I'd better run. The FDI can't run itself now, can it? Good luck with your first day, all right?
God, wouldn't it be awful if we had, like, a college frat bro in charge of the FBI? That would be awful. Thanks. Talk to you later, Mike. Xavier, I'm trying to read. Gosh, Xavier, I haven't finished reading this yet. All right.
Good morning, Mr. Tanner. Welcome to the FDI. I assume you're up to speed on your mission here at the Operator Program?
Well, no, not yet. I'm in the middle of reading, so no.
Well, as an operator, your goal is to support our agents by providing them with anything they need to solve a case. That help can come in the form of fact-checking, video and audio analysis, even lab work. My job as a supervisor is to link the agents with an appropriately matched operator. Any questions?
Okay, I get it. I think I'm ready, sir.
Fine, but first you need to learn how to respond to an agent's request. Let's do a dry run, shall we? I want you to find my age. This objective just popped up at the top left of your screen, beside the applications menu. See it? Whenever you're stuck, or if you need help, simply click on the question mark next to the objective. Go on and click on the question mark, Tanner.
Okay, find Skinner's age.
Yes, just like that. You can always click on the question mark if you get stuck, though I'm hoping this won't happen often. I'm giving you access to the human database. The Human DB, as we call it here. You can find this and other tools to help you solve agent requests in the applications menu. Now go ahead, Operator Tanner. Solve my request. Find my age. When you find the answer, click on the objective and then select the answer on the screen.
Okay, Human DB. Full name. Age 48. Great.
You should keep the window open, Operator, to select the answer to show the agent. Just click on the objective button.
Ah, okay, well, that's the answer. Oh. Oh,
Right.
gotcha.
Like that, Tanner. I'll let you get settled in. And I'll contact you later with your first real request.
Interesting. Okay. Skinner?
Tanner, looks like your first request is somewhat of a baptism by fire. I have an agent working a homicide. It's her first case, too. Not ideal, but consider this a learning experience. I'll be monitoring you in the background.
I'm sorry. Did you say homicide?
I'm patching the agent through now.
It's Operator Tanner, right?
That's right.
I don't think our paths ever crossed at the academy, did they? Anyway, I got a homicide at a bar downtown called The Sanctuary. Ironic, no? My Vic, dead on arrival, is male, Caucasian, early 60s. He was shot in the head at close range around 2 a.m., just before closing time. As far as evidence, I got some surveillance footage from the bar, and some kind of list that I found on the deceased. Any chance you can work your operator magic and help find me an ID on the shooter?
No problem.
Thanks, operator. Okay, I'm sending over the files. Good luck.
Okay, find the killer's name. Kim 2.
This is our cutting-edge video analysis system, Tanner. Click on any relevant elements in the video to trigger an analysis. Go on, give it a whirl.
Alright, but none of this is going to help me with the name of the killer.
Just like with the video, you can click on a photo for further analysis.
Enhance!
The footage quality is insufficient for a proper ID, operator. You'll need to find another way to ID the killer.
Okay, well. Name list.
That's the list I found on the victim. It's pretty long, and to be honest, I got no idea who any of those people are. The bizarre thing is, that name at the bottom, it wasn't redacted when I bagged it, but I think it's irrelevant to our shooting here.
Oh, sure. The one redacted thing is going to be irrelevant. Okay. Well, we have a number of names. Eli Bell, Chris Davies, Toby Hood, Finnegan Koch, Ben Dixon, Logan Gates, Laura Campbell, Layla Price, Marley Spencer, Lola Burke, Corey Hill, Connie Moore, Lila Parrish,
Looks like our victim is Henry Jenkins. For some reason, we can't access his full profile. Unfortunately, for the moment anyway, there's not much else we can learn about him.
Okay, we've got the Vic. We've got a face of the perp. A couple of documents lying around, but I can't click on them. And no one else shows up in the scene. There's just a license plate. Hey, we got it? Really? Really? We can see the license plate. There's no way we could have seen that license plate. It was white. It was so bright. Ray Wells. Let's cross-check that with the name list. James Murray. No, there's no Ray Wells. Let's try a last name Wells. Nope, so it's not a spouse. Stolen, no. Well, I mean, I think we've got a name.
Nice. Now we know the perp's name. You got something for Wells' address? Because I'll take it if you do.
Oh, no, that's not his address. That's Black Oil Motors. That's the distributor. What, the distributor of the car? Black Oil Motors? Or is that like his place of business?
Yeah, I don't think that's right, operator. Looks like it's the address for a car dealership. I don't think Wells lives on the lot. What I'm looking for is Wells' home address. Can you track that down?
Okay, There's only one Ray Wells in all of DC. But an extensive criminal record. Drugs with intent to sell. Well, that's where he was born. But that's not his existing address. So, place of birth. Oh, last known address.
Yeah, that'll do. Nice work. Next up is to bring Wells in. I'll keep you updated. Thanks, Operator Tanner.
Not bad, Tanner. Not great, but not bad either.
Hey!
I'll contact you later with your next request.
What do you mean, not bad?
No need to worry, operator. You'll improve with time.
Ouch. Salt in the wounds. FBI Most Wanted. Please consult the latest FBI Most Wanted list. If you discover any information during your shift that might help the FBI, inform your supervisor at once. Fred Smorkinski. I'm busy! Again, Xavier!
Tanner, I need you to follow up on an investigation started by a previous operator. I'll let the agent working the case bring you up to speed.
Wanted for mailing and hand-delivering several explosive devices to federal buildings and universities, Smorkinski's last known residence was in Wilmington, Montana. Reward $10,000 for any valid information, $50,000 for any information leading to an arrest. Named Wilson Boulder, sought for his role in numerous murders committed in the early 80s in connection with an organized crime group also connected to drug distribution and other illegal activities in the Boston, Massachusetts area. Reward $25,000 for any valid information, $75,000 for any information leading to an arrest. Hal, real name unknown, wanted for various crimes of cyber terrorism committed against the federal government and other organizations. $150,000 for any valid information, $1.5 million for any information leading to an arrest. Snoresh. Wow. Leader of the Seventh-day Healers cult, sought for ties to extortion, drugs, and sex trafficking, and weapons amassing. Last seen moments before FDR swarmed her cult's compound in Bart, Texas. And her name is Snoresh. $45,000 for any valid information. All right. Who's the operator?
That's none of your concern, Tanner.
Barry Walker.
Oh, please. Tell me you got something.
Well, hello to you too.
God damn it! Who are you?
Who am I? Who are you?
Great. Every goddamn time we get a new operator, it takes me twice as long. I got a life outside the FDI, you know? Interests, hobbies, full-blooded passions. I don't have time for this.
But apparently you have time to whinge at me. Can you tell me about the case, Agent?
I got a missing persons case out here in Dryfield, Nevada. Connie Moore's her name. I canvassed the area, talked to the locals. I can't believe I'm saying this, but everyone thinks she was abducted by aliens.
Little Green Man?
Look, I think it's bonkers, too. Another weird thing is, over the past year, 4 people in Dryfield have claimed they've been abducted. And every single time they reappeared somewhere in the middle of the desert out here about a month later. Connie's story's the same.
I thought she was missing.
She was. Popped back up yesterday. Collected her testimony myself. She had a camera on her. Naturally, I'd like to look at the photos. But to do that, I gotta go through you, an operator. Lucky me, right?
What am I looking for?
There's something off about all this. I mean, beyond all the talk of little green men. Just look for something that doesn't add up, okay?
Your request is my command, Agent.
Here are the files.
Testimony. Following Connie Moore's reappearance on blah blah blah, we recorded her eyewitness testimony concerning her supposed alien abduction. Connie Moore, the victim, Agent Barry Walker, agent in charge of the investigation, Brittany Holt, FBI transcriber. Can you tell us more about the day you disappeared? I was hiking in the desert out by Dryfield. Sometimes I do that to clear my head or to take photos. Photography is a sort of hobby of mine. And is this your camera? Yes, it is. What else do you remember about the day in the desert? Well, it's a little blurry, but I wanted to hike around Mount Maury. I remember that. It's really beautiful at this time of year. I remember taking 2 photographs. Then I heard this loud noise coming from the sky. I looked up and barely had time to take another photograph. It was just moving so fast. Their ship, the UFO. And then I think it landed to the east. So I decided to head over and see if I could see anything else. Maybe get a photo of them. It must have taken me an hour and 45 minutes to go where it landed. Then what? I'm not sure, to be honest. That's where my mind goes blank. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in some kind of room, and I can't move. Was there someone with you in this room? I don't like to think about it. But yes, they were there, all around me. The aliens! What did they look like? The room was so bright, like I was looking into the sun. I only saw their silhouettes. Can you describe them the best as you can? Well, they were human, except they weren't. Something was off. They were too tall and thin. It was disturbing, actually. I couldn't see their faces. I'm glad about that. What do you remember about the room? It was white. I mean, entirely white. Antiseptic. It smelled sort of like a hospital. There were no doors, no windows, nothing. Just whiteness. What do you think they wanted with you? I think they wanted to learn about me, to study me. I was so scared I couldn't think straight. They kept asking me questions over and over again. What kind of questions? About my life, my family, my beliefs, everything. I guess that's what they do. Study humans. What else do you remember? They had these strange voices, sort of mechanical. And there was a machine they were using on me. It was clamped to my head. I don't know what it was, but it hurt. Can you tell us anything else, Connie? Not really. Next thing I remember, I'm waking up in the desert outside Drivefield. My head was throbbing, maybe because of their drugs or mind probes, I don't know. I just wandered around out there. Luckily, somebody found me, or I might have died from dehydration. Then I guess they called the cops, and the cops called you. End of story. Well, there's the testimony. Okay, let's get the phone recording. Cell phone triangulation report, Connie Moore. Phone tower pings and timestamps from the day of Connie's disappearance on February 5th, 1992, and from the day that she reappeared on March 5th, 1992. Exactly 1 month. There were no pings between the time of her disappearance on February 5th to her reappearance on March 5th. (8:45) to 9:15 a.m., 9:35, 9:55. Okay, so she's hiking up the peak. She wanted to get a shot of the mountain. 10:51, she sees the alien. So there's Mount Maury. She said it took her an hour to an hour and 45 minutes to get down here. Whoa. So that's So that's 36 minutes. That's an hour. It's an hour and 40 minutes. Gosh, and that's an entire nearly 30 minutes. It took nearly 2 hours. So that's longer than she said it took. But that's still an easy mistake to make. Then a month later, she arrives at 3:30 and starts walking. 30 minutes later, she arrives here. A few minutes later. So for 30 minutes, she wandered here. And then in only 5 minutes, she wandered over here. It was like she was running. Yeah, so this is nearly 2 hours. That's really interesting. Okay, camera. All right, so these are the photos of Mount Maury. There we go. 10:13. So, she caught the UFO while she was up here at Mount Maury. 9:43. She was right around there. 9:19. That was just after that. She was right about there. So everything is adding up right now, actually. And that's the end of the photos. Fascinating. All right. Just look for something that doesn't add up. Find an inconsistency. Well, the only inconsistency is in her spoken testimony. So if we go to the testimony and we go down here, find inconsistency. Must have taken me an hour, 45 minutes. Really? It was nearly 2 hours to go to where it landed. I remember taking 2 photographs. She took 3.
Yeah. Then she said she took another photo. That makes 3 photos. I don't see an issue with this. But, you know, I don't have your, operator skills.
Just shut up, Barry. Yeah, then she took another photo. Okay. They shipped the UFO, and then I think it landed to the east. Waking up in the desert outside Dryfield. That's outside of Dryfield. Okay, well, what inconsistency am I missing? She says she woke up outside of Dryfield. She wandered around until somebody saw her. She wandered around for just over 30 minutes. Or just about 30 minutes. Wanted to hike around Mount Maury. Beautiful. 2 photographs. Loud noise in the sky. Barely had time to take another photograph. It was just moving so fast, their ship, the UFO. Then it landed to the east. And then it did. It landed to the east. She hiked up to Mount Maury. She took 3 photographs. She landed over in the east, or she moved east. I mean, this time is wrong. But I can't. No, I didn't do that. Fine.
Connie Moore claims to have taken a photograph of a UFO. If you're of a more rational mind, operator, most likely she did not. Your objective is to find a shortcoming or problem with said photograph.
It's the photograph that's the problem? Okay. This is the inconsistency?
Yeah, that's the photo I think is problematic. I don't believe in intelligent life outside our planet. I don't believe in intelligent life on our planet. But we gotta be more specific. We need proof that something's off about the photo.
Uh-huh, okay. $10-13, $221.92. Oh! Nope, that actually... $592. $221.92. Oh my God, that's it. It's the date of the photograph. The photo was taken on 2/21/92, 16 days after her disappearance.
Jackpot. Connie said she took that photo the day she disappeared. Clearly, she didn't. Maybe the aliens did funny things to her brain. Maybe her brain was funny to begin with. Do me a favor. Locate the position on the map where she supposedly snapped this photograph.
Easy. It was at 10:13, so right around here. Right there, Agent Walker.
All right. I'll check this spot out. Guess I gotta do a little hiking. Probably sweat my goddamn balls.
Whoa! Secured boot check-in failed. Uh-oh. Oh! Hacked by Hal! Oh, one of the wanted guys. Hello, Evan. Who the heck are you? My name is Hal. That was supposed to be pretty obvious by now. Didn't you see my cool graphics? Yeah, what do you want? It's simple. I want the truth. What are you talking about? Let me show you something. Do you remember the list found on Henry Jenkins? You didn't see her name, did you, Evan? The abducted woman, Connie Moore. Oh my God! Well, no, it was probably crossed out. Wait, was it? Oh, wow. Pretty big coincidence, don't you think? I'm also going to assume that you didn't notice that of the 136 people on it, 122 have been reported missing. I didn't notice, no. One last thing, and this is the most important part. There's a name near the bottom that's been redacted. That name is the key to understanding everything. I have to go now, Evan, but I'll be in touch soon. Promise. Don't go! Tell me more!
Operator Tanner, are you there? Agent Walker told me that your connection was suddenly cut. And when I tried to contact you, you were offline. What happened?
It is there. Oh, well, there's something deleted here. I need to get the password for that crap. Who had my computer beforehand? My computer just crashed.
I see. I'll have IT look into that at once. The second shift of operators has arrived. You can go home now, Tanner. See you tomorrow. And don't be late.
Bye. Interesting. So who had my terminal before it was assigned to me? Really interesting artistic choice to make everything outside of the screen blurry. I actually really like it. Jackal Wise says this game is giving Big X Files vibes. Yeah, it totally is. 6 a.m. Evan's apartment. I'm gonna imagine that he was smoking a cigar. He's a cigar smoker like me. I wonder if if the screen gets clearer, if we get to see more of his life as the story progresses. FBI headquarters, Washington, D.C. Gonna make me log in every time.
Hey, pal. So,
Tell me, how'd day number 1 at the FDI go? Everything you had hoped for?
I don't think Supervisor Skinner likes me.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't worry about him. Xavier doesn't even like his own mother. To be honest, no, I probably shouldn't say anything.
You can tell me, Mike.
Well, between you and me, we're thinking of making a change at the supervisor position. You know, Evan, if you play your cards right, maybe, just maybe. Ah, sorry, buddy. My phone's ringing off the hook here.
Ha!
I gotta run. But hey, great job. And just keep plugging away, okay? I'm proud of you, Evan.
Thanks, Mike.
Operator Tanner, Agent Pendle has an update on yesterday's case. I'll patch her through in a moment. But before I do, I wanted to let you know that from this point on, you'll talk to the agents directly. Time to cut the umbilical cord. However, as your supervisor, I'll still be in the background monitoring your activity.
Crap. I'll court.
Good morning, Operator Tanner. So you remember Ray Wells, right?
Yep.
So I checked out the address you gave me, but no sign of Wells. Then I get a call from Vice, and guess what? Wells was found dead in a downtown parking garage early this morning. Shot
Ooh.
point blank range. Now I'm working 2 homicides, and it's my first week. Welcome to the FDI, Alexandra. Anyway, the garage has cameras, and I got some footage of Wells. That's the good news. The bad news? I don't have all the footage. Sort of weird, but part of it is missing.
What part is missing?
Well, the most important part. The part where Wells is shot. Anyway, think you could take a look? I'm looking for anything that's different between the first and second half of the surveillance footage. Apart from Wells ending up dead and the blood splatter on the pillar. Sorry for the vivid details.
Spatter. It's spatter, not splatter. Is he drunk? Oh my God. All right. CPL 481. Oh, I can't. I can't check on that. All right, we've got a fire extinguisher. We've got 3 cones. We've got a dark car, a light car with a stripe. 1, 2. The light is on at the beginning of the video, but it's off at the end. I didn't even mean to find that. But you're right. Look, light is off, light is on, light is off. So the bullet shot out the light because it's directly behind the body. And it was fired from below. So a car drove by.
Look at that. Give me a sec, operator. I'm gonna check this out. Well. I just found a bullet lodged in the light's framework. I'm sending you a photo.
Nice.
Can you run an analysis and tell me what kind of bullet I'm looking at?
Find out more about the bullet. What do I know about bullets? Okay, where do I find my... There. Bullet found in the light. Well, I mean, is there any blood on it? Hollow point says Jur Red. I mean, it doesn't look hollow to me. Hollow points are typically longer, aren't they? Can you run an analysis and tell me what kind of bullet I'm looking at? All right, I guess I'll just click on it. The bullet is a 45 ACP.
That's the photo I sent you of the bullet, operator. Can you analyze it and tell me what type of bullet it is?
Oh my god, come on, I clicked the wrong thing. It's weird, like, I thought I needed to cross-reference it. Like, I just clicked on it, and how did I find out that it was a 45 caliber ACP? Just from my mind?
45 caliber? I believe that's what the military and police use. Well, that's something anyway. Thanks for your help, operator. Appreciate it. If only we had all of the footage. Anyway, I should get back to the scene. Keep digging and see if you can find anything else about our perp.
Find out more info about the killer. Oh, Hal is still there. Hello, Hal. Look, I have a deal to offer you. One that I think you'll find interesting. I'm listening. You see, we share a common goal. You, me, and the FDI. You just don't know it yet. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'll help you with the Wells case, but you have to help me later when I ask for it. Do we have ourselves a deal? How could you help me? I have access to the surveillance footage from the garage. I mean, all of the footage. How did you get that? I don't have time to go into the technical details. No offense. But you probably wouldn't understand anyway. Frowny face. Will you do the deal or won't you? I need your answer. And I need it now. I don't see a ticking clock. It's Ray Wells, all right. Ray Smallfingers Wells. What a name. And those are the only two things I can interact with. The perp Okay, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to have to be indebted to this guy, though I could use the help. And we have a similar goal, apparently. All right. Pendle could use my help, so... Yes, she could. And you could be her knight in shining armor, Evan. So, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put this big, juicy, missing part back in so you can watch it and solve the crime. I'll help you if you help me. But won't this look suspicious? If somebody asks how you got the missing footage, just say the analysis software restored it. What? Come on. Analysis software doesn't restore footage. It's supposed to be cutting edge anyway, right? Fine. Crap. We have to, he's making us say, we have a deal or not. All right, I will do it. We have a deal. That's so fast, I can't read it. All right, the missing footage has been magically restored. I hope you have your popcorn ready. I'll be back a little later to collect my debt, Evan. Until then, great. Missing footage time. Enhance! Wow, that really worked. Come on, really? Enhance! Look at this window. This window is completely dark. I managed to enhance it to that, and then to enhance it to that.
I see
match.
that you ran the facial recognition software, and 0 matches turned up, operator. That's unusual. In fact, it shouldn't even be possible. Our FDI databases are exhaustive. I'll flag this issue for later, but go ahead and share the image with Agent Pendle.
I have an image of Wells' killer.
Wait, I don't understand. How did you get this?
We can tell her that Hal found footage. I think that's going to end the game really quickly. Our software recovered the missing part.
Well, this is huge. Thanks, Tanner. I'll canvass the area immediately. Maybe someone has seen our Prince Charming. I'll talk to you later. And thanks again.
Yeah, don't mention it. Vortex Kong says, can't you just nuke the problem from orbit? Wouldn't it be nice to just nuke every problem from orbit? Your debt. Now, about that debt, Evan. Go ahead, I'm listening. Good. Now, I'm going to connect you to another FBI agent. Her name is Catherine Andrews. Just listen to what she has to say. Open your terminal and type the following command. Call blah, 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 blah. Not secure. I can't copy it. 187.222. It's an IP address, 0.19.98. No secure.
Hello, Operator Tanner. Hal told me that you'd be calling.
What's this all about?
Okay, I'll try to keep this short. About a month ago, I started working on a missing persons case. A woman reported that her husband had been gone for over 48 hours. Almost right away, the case felt different. Red tape all over the place. An unusual lack of cooperation from my superiors and colleagues. Unanswered calls. Suddenly, the FBI felt like the most incompetent department in the country. After an almost endless game of phone tag, I finally managed to get an appointment with a superior. The plan was to sit down and talk about the case first thing Monday morning. That Sunday night, I'm awoken by a phone call. The woman's apartment has burned to the ground.
Huh.
And the woman, what's left of her anyway,
Oh!
has been found dead in the ashes.
Timing sounds a little strange.
Well, it gets worse. So I started looking into the fire, of course. I couldn't help myself. Plus, I felt like I owed it to Mia. That was the woman's name.
Mia.
Mia Cole.
Mia
Anyway,
Cole.
it wasn't long before my superiors found out and pressured me to stop. They told me the fire had been ruled accidental, the result of faulty wiring in our oven. They told me I was wasting my time and precious FDI resources by looking into it, and said if I continued, I'd end up pushing papers in a basement somewhere.
Oh.
But that fire, Operator Tanner, that fire was no accident. I can feel it. Mia was murdered. I just have to prove it. That's where I'm hoping you can help me.
Why would Hal help you with this?
I'm sorry, but I can't really go into that. Not now, anyway. You just have to trust me. Go ahead and search them in the Human DB. The husband's name is Sasha. Sasha and Mia Cole. Please.
You do not have the necessary clearance to view this profile. Whoa. Okay, well, we got something. Dead, 31 Brown, error 403 forbidden. I don't have clearance level.
Just another coincidence, right? Look, I don't know why, but someone doesn't want us looking into Sasha and Mia Cole. But we have to, Operator Tanner. It's our job. Who's going to do it if we don't? Can you help me find proof Mia's fire wasn't an accident?
Prove the fire's not an accident. How can we access their case files?
You'll take a look then? Oh, thank you. As far as how to access the case files, that's not really my area of expertise. But you can ask Hal.
Hal's becoming a pal. Gabriel Martin says, Happy New Year, Ox. Hope all is well. It's great to see you live. Also, I have not seen you live since last year. Get it? Because it's 2026 now. LOL. Good one, my friend. I love it. It's a New Year's joke. Good to see you this year. How can I access the Cole files? Funny. I was just working on this very thing. So, it looks like I can't give you direct access to the files, but I found a bug in the chat. You should be able to inject a query that'll get you in. Just type this. Oh, really? I gotta type that? From cases... Well, I gotta type that? Oh, thank God. Oh, but I've got 3 options. Oh my God. Which one is... All right. Type this in the chat, he said. I found a bug in the chat. Which chat? I've got 2 chat boxes open. DWNLD_FL bracket apostrophe select star from cases where ID 9XQLHC mode dot immediate. I mean, they're all the same. Download file. Select from cases where ID. It's all the same. Mode immediate. Well, let's try this one. Not in this chat, Evan. In the chat with Andrews. No offense, but how did you get this job? This was the only one that I only had 1 option, so I wanted to try it first. I get 3 options, and I can't tell the difference between these 3. Why do I have... Oh, these 2 have apostrophes at the begin. Just type... Okay, so it's not the first one, because it does have a quote at the beginning. Okay, so it's one of these 2. Doggone it. Why? Mode immediate. Oh, there's the difference. 9XQLHC, 90LHC. 9XQLHC. That's it.
Despite being, well, a thorn in the side, you have to admit Hal gets results.
Fire. Summary. Investigation report. Written by Agent Andrews, Catherine Andrews, and modified on Redacted by Redacted. Death caused by accidental fire stemming from malfunctioning wiring in victim's oven. Notes, Redacted. The fire started on February 25th, 1992, around 2 a.m. and was successfully contained by 3:12 a.m. Owing to the duration of the fire, minimal evidence remained at the scene. A single victim, identified as Mia Cole through dental records, tenant information, and a wedding ring was discovered. The autopsy revealed no anomalies, attributing the cause of her death to the fire. No other signs of physical trauma were found. No indications of a forced entry or struggle were evident in the home, aligning with the findings of the victim's autopsy report. The fire correspondence team's report, referred to report redacted, concluded that the fire originated from faulty wiring in the oven, concluded supported by our investigation. Ring? The inscription, Sasha and Mia, is engraved on the inside. Okay. Wedding picture. Oh, look at that. Just so happens that Sasha's face is burnt and Mia's is not. That's a bit of a coincidence. Is that really Mia? Yep, that's really Mia. That's too much of a coincidence. Ash sample? Chemical analyzer. You have opened a chemical sample. We have automatically given you access to the CSLCA data report application. You could find it with the other applications in the top left menu. Please review the user manual relative to the chemical sample analysis process before proceeding. You can find those documents on your personal drive in Documents Chem Data LCA User Manual. Documents Chem Data User Manual. Jeez. Welcome to the user manual for the ChemScan LCA Chemical Analyzer. This manual is designed to provide you with the information you need to safely and effectively use the instrument to perform chemical analysis. Please read this manual carefully before using the ChemScan LCA options instrument. please contact us. How to use. Open the sample in the dedicated ChemScan LA software. Input the appropriate settings for your sample using formulas found thereafter. Start the analysis process. Note that this may take some time. Once the analysis is complete, open the data report. Input the results from the ChemScan into the calculation. Jeez. For a liquid sample, ion size will be set to 2. For a solid sample, ion size is typically around 6. If the material is organic, the ion size must be set to 3.5 to avoid damaging the sample. All right, well, if it's a sample of type non-organic, so it's not a human sample, state solid, so a solid non-organic sample, this gets sent to 6. For a gaseous sample, ion size must not exceed 1.3, delta 5. The delta 5 can be calculated using the following formula. For an organic sample, weight, oh my God, weight in grams times 250. Weight 4.2 times 250. 1050. That's for the delta 5. Oh, but it's a non-organic sample. So 4.2 times 100. $420. Because it's non-organic. Okay, threshold. Liquid, solid. Threshold should be set to the half of the delta 5. Threshold. Okay, so 420 divided by 2 equals 210. Threshold. Sample matrix size. The default value of the matrix size is 5. If you're using an older version of the ChemScan LCA, version 1.03 or lower, you must set the matrix size to 4. Version 1.03. This is version 1.04. So we need to change this to 5. God. How to read the results. Okay, I think we did everything correctly. Let's run it. Results. How to read results. God, what? Open the data report software and input the CCVT pH and frequencies. So there's the pH. There's the CCVT. Okay, open the software. I've got too many windows open. Open the CSLA data report software. Where's data report software? Data report software. Here we go. And input the pH and CCVT. Okay, pH 6.5. CCVT 901. The response frequencies must be entered from the highest to the lowest intensity spike. There must be between 1 and 5 spikes that are higher than the threshold, represented in the red area. You can use the mouse pointer to calculate the frequency. Okay, so we've got 1.51. From the highest to the lowest. Okay, so highest is 2.96. No, that's, sorry, 9.28. 9.28. 2.54. Oh, that actually goes up to 3.2. Well, which one is the highest? 9.24. 9.26. 9.30. Okay, I think it's there. 9.24. 2.43. 1.56. 10.60. Okay, so I mean, I can't get a, like, I can't. It's frustrating because all I can do is drag my mouse over and it changes. So I'm kind of trying to get the green line right into the middle of that spike. All right, calculate. Wood, gas, other non-identifiable residues. So there's gasoline and wood in here. Prove the fire's not an accident. Gasoline. Ovens are not fueled by gasoline. There were traces of gas in the fire.
I knew it. Faulty wiring my... You know what? This was no accident. Someone started this fire and killed Mia. But why?
Why is Hal helping you?
I can't talk about that, operator. Not now. When the time is right, Hal will let you know. I'm sure. But what we're doing here, it's important. You see that, right? It matters to me.
Something bad is going to happen to her. Why does it matter to you?
I grew to know her. Mia, I mean. With our line of work, you try not to get emotionally involved. That's what they teach you at the academy anyway. Almost from the start. And usually, I can turn the switch off. I learned to do that. Feel nothing.
Whoa!
Mia, I just never could. She wanted to be a singer, she told me. That was her dream. And I'm not exactly an expert, but she did have a good voice. Really. She was just a person. Wanted to find
Oh my God. Oh no.
Someone killed them, Operator Tanner. Someone killed Mia and her baby. Are you still there?
Well, I don't really know what happened, but yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, anyway, thanks, Operator. Because of you, I finally have proof. Knowing Hal, well, as much as someone can know Hal, I have a feeling this won't be the last time you and me work together.
Yeah, I have that feeling too. What was that? So, you found evidence proving the fire wasn't an accident. Well done, Evan. Maybe there's hope for you yet. The way the FBI has handled the Cole case, it's strange, don't you think? It does seem suspicious, yeah. Yeah, it does. I just don't know what they're hiding. Or why. Look, I know you probably still don't trust me. I'm on the FBI's most wanted list. I hacked into your computer. I get it. But tell me something. Why would I bother going to the trouble of working with a low-level FBI employee? Sorry, if I didn't have a good reason. I have literally no idea how. Maybe you're thinking about turning me in to get that reward. But it's too late. You're in too deep. Oh, Mike, yes. Oh, okay, answer.
Operator Tanner, can I have a word?
Sure, Mike, what's this about?
I see that you've been looking into the database entries for Mia and Sasha Cole. You want to tell me why?
Well, buddy Mike, I just wanted to catch up on the case.
I see. In the future, I want you to avoid anything related to Sasha and Mia Cole. It's a closed case. A total waste of your time. And if by chance something else pops up concerning the Coles, and this is very important, you come to me right away. Understood?
What's the big deal about them?
Oh, there's no deal, Evan. It's just highly confidential, classified, and way above your pay grade. I'm sure you understand.
Sure, whatever you say, Mike.
I'll talk to you later.
I know that was probably difficult lying to your friend, but you did the right thing, Evan. As a reward, I'll tell you something about myself. Something that only 2 other people know. The reason I have so much access to the FBI, I used to work there. You were in the FBI? I can't tell you more for the moment, but yeah, I was. As improbable as that seems, what do I do now, Hal? For now, nothing. I'll be in touch later, Evan. Well, I didn't accomplish anything work-related today, but I did get myself into a lot of trouble. FBI headquarters. 4:55 p.m. Barry!
So who the hell am I talking to this time?
Oh man, I can't have a snarky response. I can't say, I'm the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. Oh, this is still Operator Tanner.
The same Operator Tanner from before?
Yes, Agent Walker.
Good. You haven't been fired. I was afraid I'd have to explain this goddamn case all over again. I went back to where Connie said she took the photo in the desert. You remember, right? Where she said this, flying saucer supposedly landed. I didn't find a flying saucer or any aliens breathing their last wheezy breaths or anything like that. But I did find something else.
The desert heat?
I found that too, Tanner. But no, that's not what I meant. I found stones. A bunch of stones lying there on the surface of the sand. I'm no geologist, but they look funny to me. Like they'd been moved. Put there for a reason, you know? So, I call it in. Because I'm sure as hell not gonna dig myself, Tanner. Not in this suit. A team arrives an hour later, and they start digging. Sure enough, under one of the stones, they find a body.
Oh!
Advanced state of decomp. They dig under another stone. And lo and behold, this time they find an entire skeleton. Turns out, we're standing on some sort of desert graveyard.
Holy cow. How many corpses are out there?
Hard to say, but I counted more than 100 stones. If they're all grave markers, well, I'll let you do the math.
So they found a body and a skeleton.
Yeah, messed up, right? And judging by the size of the skeleton, it belonged to someone young, Tanner. Real young. Look, I won't beat around the bush. The medical examiner has finished a preliminary report on the skeleton, and they found what they believe is a photo of the victim in the sand, buried there by the bones. Never seen that before. Any chance you can take a look at all this and get me an ID, Tanner?
Consider it done, Agent.
Let me send you the files. Well, it's taken a while. Hard to access the satellite out here in Roswell. Dryfield.
That's a lot of names on this list.
Looks like it went through. About goddamn time.
Identify the body. Body 1. Autopsy report.
The skeleton appears to be female, estimated at 9 years of age. Starting the examination now. Initial observations show well-preserved and intact bones. No visible signs of trauma or damage. The subject is missing her left incisor. The rest of the dentition looks good. No decay or disease is present. Moving on. Here's something interesting. One of the metacarpal bones on her left hand, the metacarpal 3, has a slight curvature. You don't see that a lot. So, to summarize, the subject appears to have been a female, approximately 9 years of age, with a missing left incisor tooth and a slight curvature in the metacarpal 3 in her left hand. Based on the level of decomposition, the body appears to have been buried for approximately 6 to 8 months. Further testing and analysis is needed to determine the cause of death.
Photo front. Well, this doesn't help. The kid is completely... What is this? Henry Jenkins. Class S, clearance level 4. Research and Development Director. BM Technologies. What is BM Technologies? Dead. Was this the guy? We don't have a clearance level to view this profile. Was this the guy in the first? Yeah. This was the guy killed in the bar. Oh my God. He was killed in the bar and his daughter was out in the desert. Well, we need to identify the body, so the body is Jenkins. Photo back. Welcome to facility, Gabby. You are in good hands now. Sincerely, Dr. Jenkins. Oh. So that's not necessarily her father. That could have been her doctor. This is a photograph of her with her doctor? That's weird. Dr. Jenkins. Welcome to the facility, Gabby. You are in good hands now. Sincerely, Dr. Jenkins. Badge. There's the badge. Identify the body. This isn't enough to identify the body. It's enough to identify Jenkins, but not to identify the body. It's Gabby. I'm like, her name is Gabby. Okay, hold on. Gabby Bruce? Or Gabby Mills? We've got two Gabbys. Of course we've got two Gabbys. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Gabby. We've got Gabby Mills and Gabby Bruce. Have we gotten any other information? Maybe in the desert? No. So the reason that Connie got abducted is because she got too close to the cemetery. Why didn't they just kill her? Check the human database. Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Let's try Gabby Bruce. Age 9, status missing. Let's try Gabby Mills. Oh, it's a very different Gabby. Not him. Okay, we found it. It's Gabby Bruce. Status missing, age 9. Place of birth. No known scars, no known aliases. That's her last known address. Hey, metacarpal bone abnormal growth. Identify the body, Gabby Bruce. Her name is Gabby Bruce.
How did you find this, Tanner?
Her name is on a list from another case, like Connie.
Just when you think this case can't get any weirder, that's exactly what it does. But I need concrete proof it's her. Got anything else in your bag of tricks?
Yes, I do. Show evidence. Metacarpal bone abnormal growth. Gabby also has an unusual bone growth.
I'll be damned. 9 years old, Tanner. Breaks your goddamn heart. What the hell is going on out here? And what's a connection to Connie? Okay, the examiner has just finished processing the second body I was telling you about. The one in the advanced state of decay. Let's see here. Adult male, early 60s. Ah, they got an ID on him. Quentin Spence. Want to see if that name is on your magical list too?
Find Quentin Spence. Look at that. Yeah, he's right here.
So there's definitely a link. I see some of the names have been crossed out. Can you figure out what that business means?
What does crossed out mean? It means they've been taken care of. Gabby Bruce crossed out. Quentin Spence crossed out. It means they've been killed. But what piece of evidence do I point to let him know? I mean, I know. What do we point to, Dad? It means he's been killed. Yeah! Crossed out means the person, is missing.
Looks to be about 100 names like that. That number matches the stones. God damn. And if I was a gambling man, I'd say the circled persons are still alive. Like our Connie. There's something else about Spence, Tanner.
Yeah, what's that?
They found him buried in a lab coat with some, you're never gonna guess, floppy disk sewn into one of the pockets. Remember what I said about this case getting weirder and weirder? Now the second disk password protected. Open that second floppy disk and give me an address tied to Spence. Something I can look into. I'm getting a little restless with you doing all the work. The operator program. Oh, I'm sending everything your way.
Hey, I'm helping you here, Barry. Get off my case.
There you go.
Autopsy report 2.
Autopsy report of a male, approximately late 50s, early 60s. Initial observations show no sign of trauma or blunt force injury, similar to the first remains found. The decedent appears to be wearing some kind of lab coat. Starting the external examination now. Excellent dentition. The decedent is wearing some kind of badge. Let me put this to the side. Abdomen seems healthy, with no signs of trauma or injuries. The lab coat seems to contain a hidden pocket. There's something inside. It's sewn shut. I'll open this with my scalpel. There. There appear to be 2 floppy disks inside the pocket. Strange. In my estimate, the body has been buried for approximately 2 to 3 months, based on the level of decomposition. At this point, the cause of death is uncertain. Further testing and analysis is needed, including toxicology reports, before I can provide a conclusive determination.
It's got the same insignia. BM Technologies, Quentin Spence. So they were all from the same company. Someone's offing people. Floppy disk. Dr. Spence. Okay, what do I do with this? Open that second floppy disk. That's floppy disk 1, floppy disk 2. What? Restricted. R&D 2, Dr. Spence. What does this mean? Open the second floppy disk? Well, usually there's a little notch that you flip to. Oh! These are the contents. Floppy disk 1. Upon my arrival at the BioM facility, I was warmly greeted by Dr. Jenkins himself. How fortunate I am to work with such a passionate and talented scientist, even if in a subsidiary role. During our meetings, Dr. Jenkins explained that I would be heading up a trial involving FMP 1138, a key component of his research project. Although he did not disclose much, I have the impression that the project is shrouded in secrecy. It appears to be of great importance. The trials, which are scheduled to commence in a few days, once I am well versed with the subjects and the procedures are in place, Dr. Isles, the facility director, Dr. Isles, we'll need to remember that name, informs me our work has the potential to significantly enhance the well-being of the patients who have been selected specifically for our research. The entire facility itself has been constructed for this purpose alone. Although I am unaware of the project's source of funding, there also appears to be no shortage of resources. I'm truly optimistic our research will make a profound difference and push the boundaries of scientific knowledge. FMP 1138. The AMPA receptor is a crucial component of excitatory synaptic transmission and plasticity of the brain. As a glutamate-gated ion channel, it mediates fast synaptic transmission and contributes to synaptic plasticity by modulating the strength of synaptic connections between neurons. Dysfunction of AMPA receptors has been implicated in various neurological and psychiatric disorders, including Alzheimer's disease, depression, and schizophrenia. Figure 1, representation of the AMPA receptor. Selective AMPA receptor potentiators represent a promising class of compounds for the treatment of these disorders as they enhance AMPA receptor function and improve synaptic plasticity. FMP 1138 is a novel selective AMPA receptor potentiator that has shown promising results in preclinical studies. It has been demonstrated to enhance AMPA receptor-mediated synaptic transmission and improve synaptic plasticity in vitro and in vivo. In this study, we sought to explore the potential therapeutic effects of FMP 1138 on neuronal activity or connectivity. Specifically, we aim to investigate whether the FMP 1138 could enhance synaptic connectivity and promote the formation of new synapses in vitro and in vivo. To accomplish this, we used a combination of electrophysiological imaging and behavioral analysis to assess the effects of FMP 1138 on neuronal function and connectivity. Our results demonstrate that FMP 1138 enhances synaptic connectivity and promotes the formation of new synapses in vitro and in vivo. Specifically, we observed that FMP 1138 increases the frequency and amplitude of excitatory postsynaptic currents, EPSCs, in cultured neurons, indicating an enhancement of synaptic transmission. Furthermore, we found that FMP 1138 promoted the formation of new synapses in cultured neurons, as evidenced by an increase in the number of dendritic spines, the sites of synaptic contacts on neurons. To unlock the full potential, 66.78 kilohertz minimum, 105 kilohertz maximum. What? In vivo, we found that FMP 1138 provided cognitive function in a mouse model with Alzheimer's. Specifically, we observed that FMP 1138 treated mice performed better in a spatial memory task compared to control mice. Additionally, we found that FMP 1138 treated mice had increased dendritic spine density in the hippocampus, a brain region critical for learning and memory. Taken together, our findings suggest, these are the Cliff Notes, that FMP 1138 represents a promising therapeutic agent for the treatment of neurological and psychiatric disorders characterized by impaired neuronal connectivity and plasticity. Further, preclinical and clinical studies are warranted to evaluate the safety and efficacy of FMP 1138 in humans. Wow. Res 1. Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Q. Spence, Dr. Isles. The results demonstrate that FMP 1138 significantly increased the frequency and amplitude of EPSCs, indicating an enhancement of synaptic transmission. These findings suggest that FMP 1138 has the potential to improve neuronal connectivity and plasticity, which could have implications for the treatment of neurological and psychiatric disorders characterized by synaptic dysfunction. I wonder if Isles is in that registry. No. Isles is not a missing person, but Spence is and Jenkins is. Res 2. The graph displays the results of a study investigating the effects of FMP 1138 on synaptic connectivity in vitro. The study aimed to explore whether FMP 1138 could enhance synaptic transmission and promote the formation of new synapses. The graph shows the mean frequency and amplitude of excitatory postsynaptic currents in cultured neurons under control conditions and after treatment with FMP 1138. The results demonstrate that FMP 1138 significantly increased the frequency and amplitude of EPSCs, indicating an enhancement of synaptic transmission. These findings suggest that FMP 1138 has the potential to improve neuronal connectivity and plasticity. Note, unlike Dr. Isles in this result paper, I will use the little Indian standard. What does that even mean? Locked. Figure 1 before EMP 1138 or FMP 1138. 2 after FMP 1138. Okay. Well, I think that meaning is clear. That's just the first disc. We need to get into the second disc. Dear God. So many freaking windows open. Dear God. When's the windows open? Password. FMP 1138. No. What would be the password? Nothing has stood out as a clear password. To unlock the full potential, 6672 min 105 max. Could that mean check the image again? That's Jenkins. Clearance level 3. Clearance level 4. FMP 1138. Oh. So this is telling me what the key is. Res 2. Aha, aha. Well, 6672 minimum. 105 maximum. Are we looking at the peaks here? So would it be 2987? Res 2, Res 2. So we've got two numbers on the other side of a list. Open both and line them up. What do you mean line them up? Isles use endian. Unlike Dr. Isles, in this result paper I will use the little endian standard. Isles use endian. $99. Try lining up both files. That spot both have one. The floppy disk shows you how to line up the photos. What? What photos? I don't know what endian means. I don't know. Line them up? Line them up with what? Res 1 and Res 2. So that's Res 1. That's Res 2. What do you mean line them up? There's nothing to line up in Res 1. Res 1, the only numbers we have are frequency range 500 hertz, 99 kilohertz. There's nothing to line up. Scroll up on the graph to where he says to turn to 60 kilohertz or whatever number. They line up. This is ridiculous. Okay, so there's that. To unlock the full potential, 66.72 kilohertz minimum, 105 kilohertz maximum. Oh. Well, I got an audio cue. 105 Endian. To unlock the files, use 105 Endian. That was really clever. Holy cow, that was clever. I don't know if I would have ever figured that out on my own. There's just so much data that they're throwing at us. 105 Endian. All right. It worked. We did it. My confession. If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer living and that I've been buried in the dry-field desert like the other subjects. I implore you, whoever you are, to share my story with anyone who can make things right. My name is Quentin Spence. I was head of operations at the BioM facility. I'm writing this letter because I'm about to resign from a job that one cannot simply resign from. As per protocol, I will most likely be sent to the desert burial site with all of my belongings. I deserve this punishment. I am sick. So sick of everything that we have done supposedly in the name of science. If you have found me, then I'm assuming you've found the others too. Every person buried here in the sand is a Project Eve test subject. Eve was led by Dr. Henry Jenkins. I'm not trying to shift the blame onto him. I bear my shame of responsibility in this matter. While our intentions were noble, at least in the beginning, I now see that we went too far, and I am ready and willing to face whatever punishment awaits me in the next world. You have found this document, but perhaps the contents of my lab coat pocket remain undiscovered. Perhaps they could not crack the password necessary to open the floppy disk. Maybe they assumed the floppy disk contained only my research papers. Regardless, what truly matters now is you. You have the power to stop this. Please, do not be as cowardly as I was. Spence worked at the BioM facility. It's here.
Don't let it go to your operator head, but that was actually somewhat impressive, Tanner. The address you sent, it's not far from here. I'll check it out first thing in the morning. Tonight, I think I'll help the team exhume the rest of these bodies. Screw the suit. God help us, Tanner. God help every single one of us.
Take care of yourself, Agent Walker. What a story.
Look, you need to do something about it. He's poking around, asking too many questions. He's going to expose us all if you don't rein him in. Yes, his shift is over. Yes. All right. Yeah, fine. We'll talk later. Bye.
It's actually really cool the way they do this. I don't even need to see anything clearly. I get what's going on. I love the vibe. That poor cat, alone all day in that house. Barry's gonna be dead, man. Barry's gonna be so dead in the morning. Evan's apartment, 6 a.m. What pills you popping, Evan? Such a cool game. So many cases open. I'm gonna have a desktop full. Hey, Mike Trench.
Good morning, Evan.
Hey, Mike, how are ya?
Look, about yesterday, this business with the coal files. Sorry if I came down on you a little hard, buddy. It's just that I know you have what it takes to rise in this place, Evan. Become a supervisor. Hell, maybe even replace me one day. But I can't protect you if you start poking around in the wrong places. Okay?
I get it.
Thanks. Guess the FDI has got me wound a little tight these days. Well, I'd better get back to it. You have a good one. All right? Again, I can't tell you how happy I am to have you here at the operator program, Evan. That way, I can keep a close eye on you, can't I? Let's grab a beer later this week, all right? Once everything
nice.
calms down in the madhouse.
Maybe you can bring your wife this time.
Oh, right. Well, you know my wife, Evan. She's not exactly a social butterfly, is she? Bye, pal.
He's alive, Barry!
Operator Tanner, that you?
It's still me, Agent Walker. Why are you always unsure?
Tanner, did you give that address out to anybody?
No, of course not.
Well, somebody beat me to the facility, Tanner.
Let me guess, burned down with gasoline? Wait, what happened?
The BioM facility burned down last night, Tanner. Up in flames. And if you didn't give the address out, someone else did. Looks like we got ourselves a goddamn operator program.
What do we do now?
Well, an investigative team came before me and logged the remaining evidence back at the department. But I can't access it directly. I'll have to go through the operator program. Heaven on earth, Tanner. Heaven on earth. From what I can tell, there should be some security footage there that should shed some light on what happened here. Hopefully, it won't be too hard to prove this was arson.
This guy is so charmingly annoyed with just everything. Facility. All right, entrance. Prove it was arson. This is a long video. This is a really, really long video. This is what, like a 3-minute video? I feel like I'm researching the Epstein files, man. I'm looking at a cell door, waiting to see where the cut is. They're gonna make me shit through 3 minutes. 3-minute long video. to prove that it was arson. Was there anybody in... Oh, okay. Well, maybe I need to inspect more closely what he was carrying inside. Okay, let's remember where we were. We were here. Gas can. Jerry can. All right, let's see if we can find any more evidence. We were here. Let's keep watching. You can grab it and scroll through faster, says chat. I mean, yeah, I could, but I could miss something. All right, I'm going to just slightly fast forward here. Oh, it went down a little bit. Why? Why did it go down a little bit? Is that a cut? Oh, it's still smooth there. Oh! We're going to see it burn up. No, it just stops. Enclave leader says, breaking news, U.S. has captured Maduro? Really? That's weird. Right. A man entered with gasoline.
Yeah, that's not a box of wine, is it? Can you get an ID on this guy?
Sorry, no match in the database.
That would have been too easy, huh? I'd like to get in the facility. Yeah, take a look around. Good Lord willing, the roof won't collapse on me. But I need a code for the door. You see where I'm going with this, Tanner?
Okay. How'd the first responders get in?
Yeah, that's fishy, isn't it? So fishy, it goddamn stinks. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the team members. But from what I can tell, the order came from higher up.
I could say, I just need the magic word. Say please. No. I'll find it. Find the code. Enhance! 1485. Look at that.
Let me see if this works. All right, I'm in. Damn it! A smoke in here will ruin this suit too. That's 2 suits in 2 days. Tanner! Now, let me see if I can find something useful.
It's not my fault,
Something
man.
that the investigative team left behind. Sure as hell won't be easy.
Why'd you say that?
Because this place is just about burnt to a crisp. I don't know what went on here. But if you ask me, it's a pretty elaborate security system for a medical facility.
Something else I can do?
While I look around, maybe you could dig more into our little arsonist friend.
Sure, what do you need?
Anything that you can find, Tanner. I look picky to you? An ID, a link to another case, his favorite flavor of ice cream. Just give me something, all right?
Find more info on the arsonist. He's the same killer in the parking garage. He's also suspected in a shooting.
Charming fellow. Who's the lead on the other investigation?
Agent Alexandra Pendle.
Ouch. Tough draw for the rook. Hold on. Looks like I found something. What the?
Oh, what is this? Connie? Connie Moore!
See what I'm seeing, Tanner? Looks like our gal, Connie Moore, was a bio-impatient.
I don't think she was hiding it. Was she hiding this from us?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. Passed her polygraph with flying colors. She told us the truth. Her truth, anyway.
Any records on Connie?
Nope. Looks like either the first responders took that info with them or it burned in the fire.
Need something else from me?
Contact Skinner to update Pendle on her parking garage killer. I'm sure she'll be thrilled. I'll keep looking around here. The world's biggest ashtray. Tell me if you find out anything new about our pyro head, Tanner. And I'll contact you if I come across something on my charred end over here.
Be careful, Agent. Well, Skinner. Wait! Whoa, take it easy. Just when I was starting to miss you. Don't contact Pendle. Why not? Agent Walker, though really grumpy, is right. There's a mole in the operator program. A hairy, stinking little mole, Evan. Who do you think it is? I don't know, but I have a plan to find out. A plan that will expose our mole and bring out the ghost. A 2-for-1 How special. The ghost? Who's that? That's what I'm calling the guy who doesn't appear in your databases. Good name, don't you think? He murdered Wells and set fire to the BioM facility. I'm pretty sure he killed Mia Cole, too. Go on, tell me the plan. So Walker told you that a team came and logged evidence from the facility. It's now at the FDI, but some of it's been concealed. I can see that from here, just like the name on Jenkins' list. The evidence room is behind a closed network that, unfortunately, I can't hack into. So, what's the solution? If we can sneak into the evidence room and access its computer, we can make the hidden evidence visible again. And if we share that information, it will catch the attention of our mole and trigger him or her to contact the ghost. That's phase 1. And phase 2? Phase 2 is setting the trap for the ghost with Agents Pendle and Walker. But I'll talk more about that later. How will this trigger the mole? The mole is most likely monitoring all communications between operators and agents in the operator program. Once we reveal and share whatever it is that they have suppressed, it should trigger the mole to contact the ghost to cover this up. But I can't get into the evidence room. Not yet, you can't. but just give me a second. Okay. I've hacked the accreditation server, giving you access permission. It's go time, Evan. So, I just used my badge? You just use your badge. Now, chop chop, Evan. The things I do for you. Okay. I can see the elevator buttons. Ooh. Oh, and he's walking forward. This is an interesting style choice. And it worked. We're in. Evidence. Authorized personnel only. Current user unauthenticated. Authenticate. Okay. Error 403, forbidden access. Can list other cases, false. Can list agent cases, false. Can list history, false. Has edit rights, false. Hal, is it you? Yes, it's me, Hal. Am I reading you? Phew, your badge worked. Wait, you weren't sure it would? 50% sure? Don't hate me, Evan. If you could access this computer, can't you make the evidence visible? I can't access everything. The help menu, as boring as it is, was the only thing that loaded from the global FDI network. You'll have to access the files and look for the hidden evidence on your end. You'll have to work a little, Evan. Sorry. I'm getting error messages. Oh, whoops. I forgot to do something on my end, actually. Just a sec. Hey, okay. Just updated your credentials. You should be able to see the files now. Look in the hidden column and see if you can find any evidence from the facility case that you can make visible again. Then come back here once you've done that, okay? Not hidden. Not hidden. Nothing hidden. Nothing hidden. Ooh. Hidden. Key hidden. Previous value true. Next value false. History. Evidence registration. Storage unit changed. Set evidence visible. That's me. Okay, so it's all shown. Okay, that was it. So it's in B. Walker. Okay, let's go to help. The evidence is visible again. I've just had an idea. The list on Henry Jenkins. Don't you think it's time we finally discover the name that's been redacted? I mean, it's sort of driving me crazy. Find the appropriate case file and see if you can revert it to the uncensored version. Then come back here. You know, H for Hal. Oh, man, which one was it? Henry Jenkins. All right. Censored sensitive info. This version is already the current version. Oh. Evidence registration. Are you sure? Previous version. I'm sure. Alright, the censor has been removed. Okay, but that was in the name list. Sensors. There we go. Sensor sensitive info. Confirm. There was another one that was censored, though, right? We had the name on the list. We had the picture of the woman. That might have been it. Okay, that's it. I love that sound. It's like you won at the evidence room for something. All right, log out and head back to your desk. But act natural, Evan. Acting natural. Acting natural. Don't mind me, I just went on a coffee break. Walking back to my desk, nonchalant. Okay. What took you so long? You said act natural. Not that natural, Evan. So, the evidence from the facility case that you just made visible. Let's see what we have there, shall we? Yes. But first, Sasha Cole was the redacted name. Aha. Then Agent in charge, Catherine Andrews. This fire happened 21 days after the disappearance of police officer Sasha Cole, the victim's husband. He was a police officer. Even though no conclusive evidence was found, the potential link with this other case remains a lead to explore. So her husband was a police officer. Okay, facility. HDD. The drive looks a little damaged. Probably from the fire. But I wouldn't be surprised if they tampered with it too. Looks like it's going to take some time to recover the files. In the meantime, check out Jenkins' list and see what name they redacted. We know what name they redacted. I'm kind of nervous. Give this censored entry. All right, well, that was Sasha. Sasha Cole, Mia's husband, and his name is circled. That means... It means what, Hal? If what Agent Walker said about the circled names is true, then Sasha Cole is still alive. Does he know about Mia and the baby? I hope not. Anyway, the hard drive has recovered some of its files. That's fortunate. Look, there's a file for Sasha Cole and Connie Moore. Both are password protected. Let's focus on Connie's folder first. See if you can find a way in. Sorry, Evan. You're gonna have to work a little more. Frowny face. Open Connie Moore's files. Well, let's start with please stop. From IT at bmtechnologies.com to hjenkins at bmtechnologies.com. February 9th, 1992. Object security risks, sir. We have noticed that you used your badge ID as your password. We recognize the convenience of this, but in the interest of preventing security breaches, we strongly encourage you to adopt another. Even though your password has more than 4 characters, it is still not secure enough. At your earliest convenience, please choose a new password. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely. I can't hear that phrase now and not laugh. Semaj Henderson, head of IT. Okay. Jenkins badge. Where was the badge? There it is. That's a really long... Dear God. All right. Do we include the 4? 0 3 6 6 3 6 2 0 0 5 1 0 4. That was it. What? It was Jenkins' badge number? Older people and their passwords. Anyway, nice work. Now, let's finish setting the trap. I'm guessing there's something in Connie's file we can use to trigger the mole and lure the ghost out from whatever hole he's hiding in. A piece of information, an address maybe, something. Find an address for a trap. Overview. Top secret. Subject Connie Moore. Initial observations, Connie was spotted by the disposal team near DFBD site around 11:35 a.m. and apprehended around 11:50 a.m. She will be used as a subject for the Mark 6 prototype, which should arrive from the lab tomorrow. See abduction interrogation by extraterrestrials. Oh, that's objective. Seed abduction by ETs. Remove memory of encountering burial site on her hike. Anchors. Her memory of the events leading up to this moment. Other recent claims of alien abduction in Dryfield. Subject's inherent belief and interest in the supernatural. New Mark 6 samples arrived. We'll keep the same dosage as Mark 5 with 5 milligrams, 10 milliliters per session for 1 or 2 sessions per day, depending on subject's reactions. After the first session, notice the same side effects as usual. Fever is 30% higher than Mark 5 average, but that was expected. Subject seems very receptive, but given her high fever, only 1 session was undertaken. Fever increased by yet another 10%, only 1 session. Fever is starting to decrease. ATH about 48 hours after first injection matches previous observations of Mark 5. We'll aim for 2 sessions tomorrow. 2 sessions, fever is stable, although still a bit high compared to Mark 5. Fever decreased a bit, but will probably remain around the same level until the end. Subject is confused, 2 days ahead of schedule compared to Mark 5. Started Phase 2. Subject seems very reactive. Phase 2 is over. Phase 3 is ready to begin, probably tomorrow. We'll need photographic fakes ASAP, waiting for identical weather conditions. Phase 3 begins. We'll focus on the DFBD objective until we have the photography. DFBD, the burial site. Subject's perception of the DFBD site is already modified. Rain finally stopped, most likely able to produce photographic fake tomorrow. Finally have photographic efforts. Original photographs have been replaced by ersatz. Subject's memory of the picture is altered. Mark 6 shows at least 25% efficiency boost versus Mark 5. Objectives are attached to anchors. We are ready for Phase 4. Confusion stopped. Phase 4 begins. Control sessions are fine. Some hesitations, but since anchors are strongly aligned with objectives, appears to be working. Phase 4 is over. Objectives are now deeply rooted. Final injection this morning. Subject is sedated and will remain so until fever stops. The fever has stopped. Sedation has stopped. Subject will be released into desert this afternoon. Mark 6 is very promising. 30% more efficiency overall, but 40% more fever, which is going to be a problem for the most fragile subjects. We will keep Mark 5 as the standard for now, aiming for Mark 7 to address issues with the fever. Note, send the report to the lab, 442 Wakehurst Avenue, Spring Valley, New York, 10977. That's an address. What in the world were they doing to Connie? But this address is perfect, Evan. Given the messed up things Jenkins was doing, I'm sure they want to keep this lab a secret. Now what, Hal? Now it's time for Phase 2. We have 2 agents looking for the ghost, Walker and Pendle. Time we put them to use. Let me check something. Okay, Agent Pendle is closer to the lab. Contact her and send the address. Whoever's monitoring communications between the agents and operators will see it. Am I putting Pendle in harm's way? She's a big girl, Evan, and she won't be alone. Go ahead and contact Skinner so you can contact Pendle. I'll get back to you later. What if Skinner's the mole?
Yes, Operator Tanner?
I need to contact Agent Pendle, sir.
What is this regarding?
Agent Walker has an update. Wait, do we want to connect that? Agent Walker has an update on Pendle's case.
All right. I'm forwarding the call, Tanner. But I hope you're not just sending Pendle on some wild goose chase.
Operator Tanner, what can I do for you?
I have footage of Wells' killer committing arson via a case Walker is working on.
What? You're kidding. Okay, so our murderer likes to play with fire too, huh? This guy just gets better and better. By any chance, did any clues pop up where we might locate him?
Actually, yes. I got an address linked to Jenkins.
To Jenkins? So it comes full circle, does it? Well, whatever that address is, I'll take it.
Here it is.
Nice. So what exactly is this place? If Wells Killer's there, I assume it's not a petting zoo.
I think it's Jenkins' laboratory.
I see. Well, I'm on my way. I'll contact you when I get there. Thanks, Tanner. Maybe now we can finally book this guy.
Be careful, he's dangerous. Oh, I hope she doesn't die.
Tanner, I'm at the lab.
Great. Talk to me, Agent.
The door was unlocked, actually. It's real weird in here, Tanner. Like everybody suddenly took off. They left all their beeping lab equipment behind. But I don't see any sign of Wells' killer. Looks like a dead... Shit!
Drop the phone.
Oh no!
The gun over to me. Slowly.
Oh no!
On your knees, Agent Pendle.
You? How do you know my name?
You might want to close your eyes.
You don't want to do this. I'm a federal agent. Agent Walker, FBI! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Move away from her! Now!
Yes! Yes, Agent Walker!
It's locked! What did you do? Hands up! Turn around! Turn around! Hands on your head! Pendle, you okay? Walker, we have a problem here. What'd you do? Open the door now!
Crap!
Not opening, Walker! Open the door now! Operator, you there?
You okay, Agent?
There's a bomb! This bald-headed psycho has trapped me in a room with a bomb! It's my third day! The display says 20 minutes and 21 seconds.
No, man!
You gotta help me here.
Oh, just hold on, Agent.
Come right back. Understand me, Tanner? You come right back.
Yes, Operator Tanner?
Pendle's locked in a room with a bomb.
Okay, let me think. Unfortunately, our more seasoned operators are presently occupied. I'd send a team, but they'd arrive much too late. That means... you'll have to defuse the bomb, operator.
Ha! Okay, what do I gotta do?
I'm sharing the FDI's bomb defusal manual. You haven't gone through bomb training yet, but we have no choice. What I'm about to tell you is important. Do not read the entire manual. You don't have time.
Okay.
Stay calm and follow the instructions from the beginning. Do you understand?
I understand. Oh my god. Follow instructions. Step 1. Identify bomb archetype. Follow the guide to defuse correctly. If the device's power module is a green wire, the device will have a mass per module. Such a device shall be diffused following the corresponding diffuse guide. Okay, I have a bomb manual. Stay calm. What does it look like?
There are wires, a controller, a battery, a keypad, and a display, I guess. And operator, make sure you follow the instructions at the beginning. I really don't want to go out like this.
Has a green wire mass. Oh, for Pete's sake! Really? Modules are key components to the bomb. Follow the tab. Summarizes the modules and their... I don't want to do this. Requires ticking. False, false. Okay. About the bomb. I can't ask if it's ticking. Tell me about the wires.
There are a lot, but I'll try. The power module. It's a battery. Has 2 wires, a red and a black. 2 wires are connected to the explosive, a red and a black one. The display and the numpad have 4 wires each, a red, a black, a green, and a yellow. That's it.
Single mass devices, simplest, don't have particular failsafe and can power off easily. Multi-mass device. First step is to disconnect every module that requires ticking. For that, follow the procedure listed under the column Disable Procedure for those modules, and disable those modules only. The next step is to merge the masses. For that, okay, Disable Procedure. If the device's power module has a voltage lower than liquid, oh my god. Battery, 2 wires, red, black. Power module has a battery, 2 wires, red and black. 2 wires are connected to the explosive, a red and black one. The display and the number have 4 wires each, red, black, and green. Okay, so there was something about a green wire. If the device's power module has a green wire mass, it's a multi-mass device. Okay, it's a multi-mass device. Diffused via the following diffuse guide. Multi-mass diffuse guide. Disconnect every module that requires ticking. For that, follow the procedures listed under the column Disable Procedure for those modules. Disable the ones that require ticking. Yellow data wire. Cut a wire. Keypad. Yellow wire.
Are you sure, operator?
Yes.
I hope you're right. Okay, I'm cutting the wire. Oh, it's done. But the bomb's still ticking.
Display. Cut the black wire.
Wish me luck. Oh,
It looks like you didn't follow the guide on how to disconnect the display module. Or you failed to correctly identify the device's archetype. You failed to identify the bomb's correct archetype, and now Agent Pendle is dead! Firefighters are on their way. And Agent Walker has safely evacuated with his arrest. He's transporting that SOB to the FDI. We'll question his ass first thing tomorrow. You better believe it. Now go home, operator. I think you've done enough for today.
But you cut the black wire! It's a multi-mass archetype! It's connected to its own mass! Cut the black wire! It's sent to get rid of the ones that are ticking first! It did the... Oh, no! It had a green wire! It's... display! This is the display. It's got a ticking. It requires ticking. It said get rid of all of the ticking stuff first. So I did the keypad. It was ticking. I got rid of it. Next, this is also ticking. The display, and I got rid of it. And this is to cut the black wire. I'm sorry I let you down, sir. Crap. Sire says, but not after the yellow one. Well, what am I supposed to do? They say, I'm giving you the manual, but you don't have time to read the manual, but you have to follow the instructions in the manual. Otherwise, she dies. And you got 20 minutes. Bullcrap, man. Quark Dragon says, you could say that was an explosive first week. You could say that. He cracks open a beer, turns on the TV.
Devastating incident earlier today as the facility went up in flames, claiming the life of an FDI agent on the premises.
I'm here at the scene of Biomedica Technologies Laboratory, where firefighters have been battling a blaze for hours. At this time, we still don't know what.
Tony J said you could say that you went out with a bang. I could say that. It's going to be harder to solve this case with Agent Pendle dead. Bob says, well, third day on the job and you killed someone. Yippee. This is true. I wonder if Hal's going to chew me out. I saw what happened at the lab, Evan. I'm really, really sorry. We got the ghost, but that's not how I saw our trap unfolding. Are you okay? I let Pendle down, Hal. It wasn't your fault. You didn't have the training to handle that. Clearly not! I'm sorry to have to ask this of you right now, I am. But we have another situation on our hands. Fine, what can I do? So after you proved the fire at Mia's wasn't an accident, Andrews jumped back into the case. And after certain evidence finally finished being processed, she spotted something she missed before. There was a bug in Mia's apartment. Somebody was watching her. That's really creepy. I'll spare you the technical details, but in examining this bug, I found a second video feed. It turns out this feed is routed to the same destination as the bug in Mia's. Whoever was watching Mia is watching this other feed too. I'll patch Andrews through. Well, I'd love to continue because this game is absolutely gripping. But I need to head to bed. It's been 4 hours. That's a good episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Thanks, everybody, for joining me for today's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. I hope you had a wonderful new year and that you enjoy Season 3 of The Fallout Show, or Season 2 of The Fallout Show, as much as I am. I'll see you soon with more lore videos and more live streams. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye now.